We are bracing for impact right now. We are tracking Tropical Storm Earl now just hours away from making landfall. You can see right now, it looks like it's headed towards Belize. The biggest threats we're going to be dealing with, of course, the heavy rainfall and the wind. Hurricane warnings already in effect for this powerful storm.
All right, thanks for joining us here in Weather Center Live. I'm meteorologist Keith Carson.
And I'm meteorologist Jen Delgado. Of course, we are tracking the landfall expected later on tonight.
Yeah, that is moving towards hurricane strength. The question is whether or not it will get there. We'll get to storm specialist Carl Parker in just a moment. But for lots of you, the other threat you're dealing with today is some dangerous, severe weather. Some severe storms possible, heavy rain, gusty winds, and even some lightning. Certainly, that's all part of the equation as these storms move on through. We've seen a lot of them across the southeast and a few more across the northern plains.
All right, we are talking about conditions like this: the heavy rainfall, the gusty winds, and of course the dangerous lightning. Lightning was a big story yesterday, and we're also going to talk about who has the threat of seeing a tornado.
Yeah, and flooding also a big threat today. Reports of dozens of cars getting stuck in high water across the Phoenix area. In Tucson, schools had to be evacuated because of flooded roads. Just ahead, we'll highlight today's trouble spots and whether this will last into the weekend.
All right, well, new this hour, check out this photo in from the hurricane hunters as they flew into Tropical Storm Earl. You can see the lightning and we'll say in the right-hand side of the screen as it's split.
Yeah, it's
kind of hard to, break down the quadrants of that photo.
Right, well, because you don't know exactly where they're taking it from, but they went in there. Let's bring in Carl Parker to talk about this storm. And Carl, kind of flirting with hurricane intensity at this point, the question is, will that really change the impacts for a place like Belize?
No, I mean, there really is no difference between a 70-mile-per-hour storm and a 75-mile-per-hour storm, but, maybe it gets a little bit stronger than that. Maybe it gets up to 80 or 85, and as you add a little bit of intensity, you certainly do magnify the impact somewhat. And let's take a look at what's going on right now. Here is the latest advisory from the Hurricane Center, a 70-mile-per-hour storm. It's been sitting at that value for all day today since this morning, and right now it's moving west at 14 miles per hour. And here's the forecast track and intensities from the Hurricane Center. We are expecting that it will become a hurricane as it moves towards Belize later tonight, and then it will weaken as it interacts with land there in Guatemala and also in Mexico, maybe coming back out over the open water, but not re-strengthening that much. There's a look at the advisories. Hurricane warnings now in effect for parts of Mexico, all along the coast of Belize, as well as the Bay Islands north of Honduras. And as we look at the satellite picture, really interesting here, you notice that the convection has been sort of scattered, kind of popping up and popping down. That's where you see those deeper red colors. But one thing that really stands out to me is how the upper level cloud pattern is really spreading out in all directions. And so that indicates that you've got a very favorable environment for strengthening. In fact, we see a pattern here that we like to call the rooster tail right in there. So you've got this upper level anticyclone, an area of high pressure, and that is favorable for continued development. So in terms of the upper levels, I think it will get stronger. There's certainly more than enough warm water that will provide the instability for continued strengthening. One thing that I think may have been interrupting the circulation somewhat is this clear channel that comes in and wraps around right in there. I think there is some drier air that's been getting involved in the circulation, but oftentimes these storms can sort of fend that off over time and manage to get themselves a little more organized, and that may certainly be the case as it comes in later today. Right now the winds are not very strong in any of these observing stations. Roatan is in the Bay Islands there, and winds only 12 miles per hour right now, but we expect that they're going to come up pretty dramatically over the next couple of hours. Getting some squally weather now coming into Belize, but nothing much more than that. And here is the model forecast showing you the storm coming in very late tonight. Now, as this is happening, we're going to see a very strong onshore flow there right around Belize City. And keep in mind that the elevation is not greater than a meter in coastal areas of Belize, and we could be talking about a water level rise of 1 meter to 1.5 meters coming in. And so we're getting to 3 to 5 feet somewhere in there. And that could certainly be enough to flood a lot of areas, and we could be looking at some wind damage as well as the core of this storm comes in. Jen, over to you.
All right. right, well, check this out. An incredible storm cloud spotted over Phoenix yesterday. You can see the rain just pouring out of the clouds onto the city, just moving through. At times, you couldn't even see anything behind there. This was the scene for Phoenix, but we also saw that for Tucson as well. So this is the view, and they picked up 2 inches of rainfall in just 1 hour in the Phoenix area. Good for you. Also cooled things off. We like to see this rain because this is that monsoonal moisture. It's that money in the bank for the future and the drinking water, but really some incredible images there. Now we go from the southwest up towards the northern parts of the plains, and you see what's spinning across parts of Canada. There's our disturbance that's going to be pushing over towards the east. As it does, we have our front that's coming through, and we're going to continue to see showers and thunderstorms popping up. Now we do know for Fargo, South Dakota, you're going to be looking at the better chance for some storms to arrive as we go later into the evenings, but ahead of that, it's going to be quite windy. High today of 90 degrees, and then of course those lows will fall into the 60s. The good news is you guys are going to be feeling a little bit of a break with the hot temperatures. Now for tonight, anywhere we're looking at this red area, we're going to look at the potential for some storms, produce some hail, maybe some sizable stuff for Pierre as well as into Bismarck. We look at the torcons for today. On a scale of 1 to 10, we have about a 30% chance of a tornado developing across eastern North Dakota. Now we look into tonight, the threat for hail, we're talking 1 inch or greater, stuff that can certainly cause damage. The greatest threat is certainly going to be right along that area of North Dakota as well as into South Dakota. So we talk about for today and tomorrow. We've got all that warm moist air coming through ahead of that front. At the same time, we've got that upper level energy producing the threat for severe weather even for tomorrow. But we're going to add in some of the bigger cities across parts of UP. We'll look at Duluth as well as Marquette down towards La Crosse, even into Des Moines. Minneapolis, you're going to come into play. It's that time of the year when you see all the severe weather chances really being greatest to the north, certainly where you get more of that jet stream energy. Right now, we're going to turn over to Keith. Hey there.
Hey, all right, well, coming up here on the show, spiraling winds, the storms churning slowly across the ocean. Only on the Weather Channel, a unique look at how hurricanes form. That's coming up when we come back after the break.
What's it like to put your home in good hands? Like having something fit you just right. Thank you, Randall. Every stitch and seam of your home insurance, tailored to fit you and your budget, with unique features like claim-free rewards. Ooh, customized home protection, extra features, all at an affordable price. I'm gonna live in this. N means getting more from your home insurance with an expert Allstate agent.
It's good to be in good hands.
Hello, welcome to the Holiday Inn.
Running our own business, we've been traveling a lot.
A hotel looking to help small businesses succeed is incredible. Holiday Inn is an extension of our team.
Book your next journey at holidayinn.com.
See me.
See me.
Don't stare at me.
See me.
See me.
See me to know
That psoriasis is just something that I have.
I'm not contagious.
See me to know that I won't stop
until I find what works.
Discover Cosentyx, a different kind of medicine for moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, proven to help the majority of people find clear or almost clear skin. 8 out of 10 people saw 75% skin clearance at 3 months, while the majority saw 90% clearance. Do not use if you are allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, you should be tested for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you have received a vaccine or plan to. If you have inflammatory bowel disease, tell your doctor if symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions may occur.
See me.
See me.
See me on my way.
Find clear skin and a clearer path forward. For a different kind of medicine, ask your dermatologist about Cosentyx.
We want to encourage our people to listen to the Weather Channel.
It's a place you can turn to and trust.
There's no other place that has this amount of expertise than we do right here on the Weather Channel.
When it comes to a weather situation that warrants attention, we're the place to go. It's that simple.
Currently in our area, 88 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, scattered thunderstorms early, then partly cloudy after midnight. Low 79. Chance of rain 60%. Thursday, overcast. Thursday night, mostly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 79. Here's our 7-day outlook.
It wasn't just a little fear.
Don't be scared.
This was a genuine phobia.
We've got an all-new Top 10, Sunday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Did you know this Samsung front loader with AdWash from Lowe's easily allows you to add clothes to it even after it's already started, so nothing ever gets forgotten?
So you can add clothes after the cycle started?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
I agree.
I agree more.
Well, I guess we'll just have to agree to agree.
Feels like I'm still agreeing more.
Now save $400 on the Samsung AdWash front load washer at Lowe's.
Over 40, feeling tired, losing muscle, and even romantic drive? Man up with Ageless Male. Natural ingredients clinically shown to support energy, promote muscle, and boost free testosterone.
The great thing about Ageless Male is that it works.
Man up with Ageless Male.
Can a toothpaste do everything well?
This clean was like, pow.
It felt like I had just gone to the dentist.
It just kind of like wiped everything clean.
My teeth are glowing.
They look great.
They are so white.
Crest HD, 6 times cleaning, 6 times whitening. And at 2 weeks, superior sensitivity relief to the leading sensitivity toothpaste.
I actually really like the 2 steps.
Crest HD. Step 1 cleans, Step 2 whitens.
It's the whole package. No one's done this.
Crest. Healthy, beautiful smiles for life.
And welcome back. We have a live view coming in of actually Belize, showing you the clouds are getting much darker. This is actually out of Mexico. This is the approach of course, Tropical Storm Belize. This is actually out of San Pedro, Belize. I think is this San Pedro, Belize, or is this actually This is actually Mexico. And then now here's the photo that's new coming into us. This is as it approaches Belize. So very similar view. You can see the dark clouds, of course. You can see some of the boats in the background. This is certainly not going to be an ideal day to be outside. Of course, we're watching as the hours tick as Tropical Storm Earl approaches and makes landfall across Belize. Right now, we're going to turn it over to Keith, and you're going to look more at what's going on.
Yeah, I'm going to take a look at the storm real quick here, and you can see it looks pretty decent. It's got a strong tropical storm appearance to it right now. Whether or not it's a hurricane, it's very close. Whether or not that really matters, as Carl mentioned before, you know, the 5 miles an hour not going to be the story here. Hurricane warning in effect for Belize City here, and really what we're going to be looking at is the rainfall as well as the possibility of some storm surge. Belize City very low lying, so that's going to be a problem. As these winds come on shore, they will be in that tropical storm strength range on the high end of that, maybe low end hurricane. Jen?
All right, we do know with the hurricane development that we are going to see more potential for development as we keep going on. All right, so as we continue to talk more about the storm strengths, we also want to look at the Weather Channel shows you exactly how meteorologist Jim Cantore breaks down the anatomy of a hurricane.
One of the most amazing concoctions that Mother Nature can stir up are hurricanes. These are huge heat engines that can expand hundreds of miles wide and unfortunately produce a tremendous amount of destruction. Their purpose is to take the heat from the tropics and distribute it poleward. Unfortunately, sometimes land masses get in the way. Well, with every engine, you need fuel. Water temperatures around 80 degrees. Let's bring this hurricane down and talk a little bit about it. As that warm, moist air rises, cools, condenses, towers develop, they get up there 20, 30, 40,000 feet. Then you have to evacuate that air in a process that we call outflow channels. So if you have low pressure at the surface, you need high pressure aloft to pretty much continue this harmonic process. And it's amazing, as big and as beastly as these things are, there are things that can disrupt the process. Cooler water, dry air in the surrounding atmosphere, and the biggest thing perhaps is wind shear. We know that strong wind shear can allow the system to tilt. Instead of having this nice vertical column that's going up in the middle and developing a hurricane, now you've got, check this out as we go under, a system where that updraft is now tilted off to the right and the storm becomes sometimes decoupled. So you can even see on a satellite picture sometimes a surface circulation, a low cloud swirl, if you will, and all the thunderstorms juxtaposed off in the direction of the shear. So it's kind of an amazing process. In light wind shear, now you've got a system that can grow and intensify and even further expand in time. So let's take the clouds away and give you a nice slice of what this thing actually looks like, because as the storm is maturing, one of the things we look at on satellite and sometimes radar if it's close enough to the coast are features we call rain bands. These help to feed that warm, moist air into the center, creating, especially as the pressure's lower, the most powerful part of the hurricane. We call it the eye wall. It can be anywhere from 6 to even 30 miles wide and is the most destructive part of the hurricane. It has the strongest winds, and in the northern hemisphere on the right side of it, it has the highest storm surge, typically, right near that eye. So with the eye wall comes the eye. As violent as that is, in the middle of all that, there's not even a breeze. Winds are zero, they're calm. And when you see Hurricane Hunter aircraft out there or get a nice satellite picture, sometimes you can see right through that eye. It's clear as a bell all the way down to the ocean surface, to a very turbulent ocean surface at that. So you know that the wind field surrounding these big hurricanes can produce a very, very turbulent and even rising ocean in spots. Nature's heat engines, the hurricane.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cantori. Coming up, interstates closed, roads flooded.
All right, we do know a huge mess for drivers. And who can be seeing more of this, all due to the monsoon?
You totaled your brand new car. Nobody's hurt, but there will still be pain. It comes when your insurance company says they'll only pay 3/4 of what it takes to replace it. What are you supposed to do, drive 3/4 of a car? Now, if you had Liberty Mutual new car replacement, you'd get your whole car back. I guess they don't want you driving around on 3 wheels. Smart.
With Liberty Mutual new car replacement, we'll replace the full value of your car. Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
What are you doing right now?
I'm looking at cake.
Ayla reminds me of like a master chef, and Emmy reminds me of like a monster chef.
Oh.
I don't see cake, I just see mess. It's like awful. It feels like I'm not actually cleaning it up. What's that make mommy do?
What's that?
Swiffer wet jet.
So much stuff coming up. This is amazing.
Whoa.
Wow. Now I feel more like making a mess is part of growing up.
Stop cleaning. Start Swiffering. Important IVC medical alert. Are you at risk of serious injury? Act now to prevent it. Recent studies show IVC filters intended to stop blood clots from reaching the heart and lungs often fail, even years later, and cause internal bleeding, organ puncture, or death. Now the FDA is advising they be removed. If you have an IVC filter, you may be unaware of your injury, or you may be able to prevent it. Call now for a free consultation regarding potential compensation at 1-800-800-1102.
Hey, thanks, Dad.
Pick you up in 2 hours.
Keep them on.
Thanks, bro.
Later, Mom. Thank you.
Have fun.
Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Mr. Smith.
Hurry in for Toyota's annual clearance event, where you can find 0% APR financing for 60 months on the 2016 RAV4. Offer ends September 6th. For more great deals, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Every day you get to accept things as they are or take responsibility for changing them.
The people of Flint, Michigan, it's like we don't matter.
It's such a real issue that's right in front of us.
Climate, environment, science, technology. Let's have a conversation. And together, we can solve these things.
23.5 degrees, Tuesday nights at 11 on The Weather.
So, Tampa, was I right?
Best lettuce ever.
Yeah.
Florida's most ways to play. Go to visitTampaBay.com.
Property Brothers Buying and Selling is going all out.
No room for error.
Can't afford to be burnt again.
I want to get top dollar. You just sold your house.
Yeah!
Property Brothers Buying and Selling, Wednesday night at 9 on HGTV.
It wasn't just a little fear.
Don't be scared.
This was a genuine phobia.
We've got an all-new Top 10, Sunday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 88 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, scattered thunderstorms early, then partly cloudy after midnight. Low 79. Chance of rain 60%. Thursday, overcast. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 90. Thursday night, mostly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 79. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Well, just listen to that. This is the video that captures an incredible storm that rolled through Plant City, Florida. You can hear the lightning and the thunder, or I should say you see the lightning, you hear the thunder. And this also was an area that dealt with strong wind gusts and heavy rain downpours. We do know Miami picked up 3.59 inches of rainfall yesterday. New Orleans, this looks like the ideal spot right now, Keith. Yeah. 80s.
Do you know exactly where this is in the French Quarter? Because it's always real quiet, isn't it?
It is quiet.
It's like there's nobody's drunk, no one's peeing on the sidewalk.
You mean intoxicated?
Intoxicated. Is drunk not a thing anymore?
Did you not just, I think I heard you say something, but maybe I didn't hear you. All right, 87 degrees. Let's look at the regional forecast, and we've got some storms moving through. You can also see right through the Tennessee Valley, we've got a line of storms coming through parts of Tennessee. Eventually going to be making their way into northern parts of Mississippi as well as into Alabama. But scattered storms, especially right along the boundary. Well, the map just moved, so you just didn't get to actually see my line. But we have one severe thunderstorm warning that we're looking at. This is for Christian and Todd. We're looking at the threat here just east of Hopkinsville. This goes until 2:30 with the stronger winds aligned with this. For tomorrow, expect to see more isolated storms around. Temperatures, though, a little bit cooler from Wilmington as well as into Atlanta. Not the 90s that we've been used to, but for Jackson, 98 degrees. You're begging for some rainfall just to cool things off. But across parts of Florida, for Jacksonville as well as down towards Tampa, expect the storms around. The same for your Friday. So that is a look at your Southeast regional. But then let's break out a city like Atlanta, the 80s around. But then we pump right back up into the 93 degrees on Saturday. It will be dry for the first part of the weekend. But Sunday, a chance for some afternoon storms. An excuse to just keep it lazy on the sofa. Right, Keith? That's what you'll be doing.
Yeah, I look like that kind of guy, right? Let's take it to Phoenix. Flooding making a mess of things there yesterday. Doesn't take much rain to swamp the roads, and stranded drivers there. You can see that road is washed out. Arizona officials closed a stretch of Interstate 17 for several hours due to flooding. And interestingly, the airport itself only reported 0.15 inches of rain, but just outside the city, they did see a couple of inches. Right now, Phoenix actually has a decent little line of showers and storms to the north of them, sitting at 94, which is relatively temperate for them this time of the year. Let's talk monsoon, shall we? And we go through these ups and downs as far as monsoon season goes. And this is certainly an uptick with quite a bit of moisture all over the place. Look at that area just to the north of Phoenix. That's a pretty good line, and that's when those sit. You end up seeing some flooding concerns as a result of that, because again, this is an area that doesn't do well draining water that quickly. It's generally arid. You can see a flash flood warning to the east of Phoenix right now. So we'll just watch this little line between Flagstaff and Phoenix, see if it gets into Phoenix and causes any problems. A lot of times the heavy rainfall falls in the middle of the desert, and there's no one there to see it. So it's not a big issue. It's whether or not it gets into some of these more populated areas. As far as dew points, these are pretty juicy for the Southwest to be in the upper 60s for dew points. Measure humidity differently in the South, where it's 70, 75 is really humid. But here, 65 to 69 is a pretty high dew point to have, and it shows you there's enough moisture in the atmosphere to get that vertical development in clouds and get some downpours going. Flash flood watches and effects for basically the entire monsoon area right now under a flash flood watch from Albuquerque, Phoenix, Flagstaff, and into Vegas as well. Remember, Vegas was baking, sitting at 110, 112 day after day after day. The good thing with the flare-up in the monsoon is temperatures actually go down a notch. So as that moisture gets in there, the showers and an additional cloud cover keeps them from reaching their real max temperatures. Polygons here. Lots of showers and storms through tomorrow. Again, Albuquerque and Flagstaff going to be involved. See it lift a little bit northward on Friday. You don't think of the Rockies as getting monsoon moisture, but they certainly do, certainly on the northeast side of things. Jen?
All right, we do know monsoon's going to be quieting down for next week, so we'll take that rainfall. We'll still to come much more on this afternoon's edition of Weather Center Live. Around the clock coverage of Tropical Storm Earl. It is going to be making landfall in Belize as we go later into the evening and overnight hours.
For lower back pain sufferers, the search for relief often leads here, or here. Today, there's a new option. Introducing drug-free Aleve Direct Therapy, a TENS device with high-intensity power that uses technology once only available in doctors' offices. Its wireless remote lets you control the intensity and helps you get back to things like this, or this, and back to being yourself. Introducing new Aleve Direct Therapy. Find yours in the pain relief aisle.
Hi, Linda. Looks like you've got a prescription to fill. The exact same drug that's $10 at this pharmacy is $150 at this one. GoodRx finds prices and discount coupons on every prescription. Just input the drug name and instantly find savings at virtually every pharmacy in America.
Here's my prescription, and I have a coupon from GoodRx.
Go to GoodRx.com and compare, print, and save for free. Stop paying too much for your prescriptions. Print your free coupon at GoodRx.com today.
Every day, millions of people rely on United Healthcare for their Medicare coverage. If you're turning 65, new to Medicare, or retiring soon, see why AARP Medicare plans from United Healthcare could be right for you. As you may know, Medicare doesn't cover everything, so it's important to consider your choices. AARP Medicare plans offer a range of options, including plans that may help lower your prescription costs or let you enjoy extra wellness benefits. And United Healthcare plans are backed by a commitment to quality and service. So call today to find out more. With over 30 years of Medicare experience, United Healthcare can connect you with the right coverage to help you live a healthier life. Millions of people have chosen AARP Medicare plans, so join them and see what these plans can do for you. Call United Healthcare today to learn more.
The following is a true Lipozene success story. Meet Anna. Like so many of us, as she got older, she found it harder and harder to lose weight. But that's when she discovered America's #1 selling diet supplement, Lipozene. And with Lipozene, you won't believe what happened, so stay tuned. Lipozene is now sold over 20 million bottles. That's because Lipozene really works. In fact, it's clinically proven to help you lose weight without changing your lifestyle. And of the weight you do lose, 78% is pure body fat. And pure body fat is exactly what Anna lost when she discovered Lipozene. And now, for only $29.95, you can join the millions of people just like Anna who have lost weight with Lipozene. But wait, call right now and we'll double your order absolutely free. Plus, we'll even pay for your shipping. But that's still not all. To celebrate selling over 20 million bottles of Lipozene, we'll give you a free bottle of Metabo-Up with your order. But you must call right now.
To order your Lipozene, call 1-800-997-4948. That's 1-800-997-4948.
Get your own liquid gold. Go on, get! There's gold in them there shells. Liquid gold.
We know you have a morning routine. We have one too. 7 days a week, AMHQ is right here and weather ready with Jim Cantori, Stephanie Abrams, Jen Carfagno, and the rest of AMHQ.
Let's get right to what you want, and that is the weather.
AMHQ, every morning starting at 5 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 88 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, scattered thunderstorms early, then partly cloudy after midnight. Low 79. Chance of rain 60%. Thursday, overcast. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 90. Thursday night, mostly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 79. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Closed captioning brought to you by Beltone, your premier hearing care partner.
Beltone is conducting a new trial on innovative hearing technology. You will be asked to evaluate a remarkable product that's virtually invisible. Call 1-800-BELTONE.
And storms rolling into Belize City, Belize. This is the view coming in from the airport from Josh Morgan, our storm tracker. He is out right now and bracing for Tropical Storm Earl as it makes landfall as we go later into the evening hours. It is 1:30 on Weather Center Live. I'm Jen Delgado.
And I'm Keith Carson. Josh sees everything. I'm interested to hear his perspective on this storm system. We'll talk about Earl, obviously. That's just a few hours away from making an official landfall there. Let's have a look at what it looks like right now. You know, it's a tropical storm at the moment. It's right on the line between high-end tropical storm, low-end hurricane. It's running out of ocean, though, to get that done.
That's right, and it's moving to the west at 14 miles per hour. Right now, I think it's currently 300 miles just to the east of Belize. That's from the latest of the 1 p.m. advisory. But you can see for the Isle of Roatan near Honduras, 55 miles. So this whole area already being impacted, and the heavy rainfall is going to be the big story. So let's check back in with Storm Specialist Carl Parker. He's going to go in depth for more storm coverage. And Carl, you know, we're still very close to hurricane strength. At this point, it really doesn't matter that 4 more miles difference.
No, it doesn't if it doesn't strengthen very much. And the question is, will it strengthen just a little bit or will it strengthen a good bit more? You know, the structure of this thing in a lot of ways is very, very impressive right now. We're seeing a very impressive upper level environment that is supportive of strengthening. We know the waters are very warm. It's been taking on a little bit of dry air, but I think it may manage to sort of fend that off. And right now, again, a 70-mile-per-hour storm moving west at 14 miles per hour, so that's going to bring it into the coast of Belize probably in about 10 to 11 hours or so, and could very well be a hurricane at that time. And then all that tropical moisture continues to move into very mountainous terrain, causing torrential rains and flash flooding, mudslides, maybe coming back out over the open waters of the Gulf of Mexico, but probably not a lot of strengthening as that happens. And there are the advisories that are now in effect, hurricane warnings for parts of Mexico as well as the coast of Belize, and then also the islands there just north of Honduras, the Bay Islands as they are called, right in here. Winds are still not that strong in that area, but no doubt they will be getting stronger. And there's your developing eye right there. Now notice that you've got these higher clouds really fanning out in all directions, indicating a very favorable upper level environment there. The winds are light aloft, and that is just ideal for a strengthening tropical system. But there has been a bit of dry air wrapping into the center right in there, and I think that's probably the reason why it plateaued a little bit in terms of intensity. But if it can manage to sort of wrap up and fend that off, then we'll probably see additional strengthening. And this is the high resolution model doing a pretty good job, I think, of showing you how it's going to play out tonight. There you see at 10 o'clock tonight, we're starting to feel the worst effects there on shore in Belize, a very low-lying nation. Eyewall really crashing into Belize City. They're going into 2 o'clock in the morning, and then 4 o'clock in the morning we see the storm coming on shore just about completely. A lot of very heavy rain getting into very mountainous terrain there. Now here's a look at the modeled wind fields, and you know what's interesting about this part of the world is that you actually don't have a very shallow continental shelf. When you've got a shallow shelf, which is what you see off the coast of Florida, you've got more of a storm surge risk, and we won't see as much of that in this case. But what we will see with that persistent onshore flow is what's called wave run-up and wave setup, where you've got waves coming in and then new waves coming in before the first one can come out, and that keeps happening to where that causes a water level rise in and of itself. And that water level rise could be 3 to 5 feet. And a lot of the coastline in Belize is only 3 feet high. So there could be significant coastal flooding, very strong winds coming into Belize as well. And that's going to continue really through the overnight hours there in Belize City, where you've got 60,000 people. And then the core of this storm continues on into Mexico, into parts of Guatemala, and eventually perhaps out of the open water. And as that happens, it's going to be moving into increasingly more mountainous terrain. You see some of that here as you get inland in Belize, and then northern parts of Guatemala. You're going to see very, very heavy rain developing over the next couple of days. You've got some extremely high mountains here in parts of Mexico, and when you've got that kind of mountainous terrain that squeezes out even more moisture, but also really channels that water as it's flowing down, and so you can get these torrents that can be extremely dangerous. So that's going to be the worry, and maybe the biggest worry as we go through the next few days here. That's the rainfall forecast through Sunday, looking for upwards of 8 to 12 inches in many parts of Mexico and some areas of Belize and Guatemala as well. Keith, over to you.
All right, thank you, Carl. Well, as Carl mentioned, because of the way the ocean is set up there, luckily storm surge not a huge factor here with Earl. But let's talk about storm surge this time of the year as we ramp through hurricane season. You're going to want to know more and more about it. And we're going to talk about it as we get these storms to develop. So a lot of times you hear us talk about the right front quadrant of a hurricane for a couple of reasons. One being the wind speed, the other being a spot where you can focus some of this onshore flow depending on where it's making landfall and where the coastline lines up to that. So certain approaches of hurricanes are going to be more dangerous than others depending on where these winds kind of pile up. And pile up's a key word, because what we're looking at here with storm surge is the wind pushing that water onshore. So don't mistake it for what Carl was just talking about, where you have waves that are crashing over. That's a different thing altogether. You can have some big wave heights that is separate from the storm surge. The storm surge is the amount of water that's kind of displaced by these winds. You can think of it like putting your hand in a bathtub and kind of pushing it towards the edge. It's going to spill over the top of it. It's the same type of situation. You get the winds flowing onshore, piling up that water, and the long duration storms a lot of times can be a big problem if they're more slow in their approach. It gives the winds longer time to pile that water in, and that pushes it all onshore. They have very advanced models. Our own Michael Lowry, part of some of these models that were developed, showing you how far some of this storm surge can penetrate inland, but it can go as far as 30 miles. Jen?
Yeah, it's hard to believe they can go so far, but the reality is that's one of the big dangers. Now we look at Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Looks pretty quiet there, right? Well, we do know that we have the threat for storms, and typically in a nice day you can see the sun being reflected, but right now the clouds are building in. We can expect to see storms there for tonight as well as tomorrow, so a couple days of storm activity. So we look at the water vapor, and we can certainly pick out where that disturbance is all the way to the north in Canada and where we have our front in place. So that's going to be coming through, and as it does, it's going to be producing the threat for thunderstorms. Right now it looks really quiet, but we will start to get more of that activity as we go throughout the afternoon and evening. But you can see that rain extending into areas like Rapid City, very scattered at best. But as we go through tonight, areas like Bismarck as well as into Pierre, Fargo, you're going to look at the threat for some of the hail sizes, potentially 1 inch or more, enough to cause some damage for eastern parts of North Dakota. And really, we're also looking at the potential for even an isolated tornado. We have a Torcon today of 3. That means you have about a 30% chance that you could see some of these supercells producing some tornadoes. So on the wider view, there's our front going through, and we've got the warm moist air coming in ahead of that. As it all shifts over towards the east, of course, that energy is going to be pushed into parts of the Great Lakes as well as into parts of the UP. Notice as we look for Duluth as well as into Marquette, you're going to look at your chance for severe weather for tomorrow, and that also includes the potential for some of the damaging winds. For Minneapolis, Thursday, storms for you, and then for Friday, we add in Detroit, Buffalo, as well as Cleveland. But the good news is, with that front coming through, we're going to bring in some much needed rainfall for western parts of New York, even for areas including parts of Michigan. For Chicago, 92 degrees, sunshine today, and afternoon storms around for your Friday. Right now, I'll turn it over to Keith.
All right, thank you, Jen. Well, we're keeping a close eye on Tropical Storm Earl, obviously. As our coverage continues, we're going to give you a breakdown of the hurricane categories. That's straight ahead. And round after round of summer storms across the southeast, what we'll be dealing with as we go into the afternoon and into the evening. Everything you need to know next on Weather Center Live. First, let's take a little tour. Start in Bacalar, Mexico, which is actually to the north of Belize City. You're looking at a lake here, but you can see some dark clouds, some of the outer bands here of this system having some squally activity with them. And also, let's take you to Cozumel, Mexico, a very popular tourist destination, looking good right now, but a lot of these areas will be dealing with this storm as it moves onshore.
Currently in our area, 91 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, scattered thunderstorms early, then partly cloudy after midnight. Low 79. Chance of rain 60%. Thursday, overcast. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 90. Thursday night, mostly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 79. Here's our 7-day outlook.
I know what you're thinking. I thought what you thought. Some things are just too good to be true. Just like you, I thought that reverse mortgages had to have some kind of catch, just a way for the banks to get your house, right? Well, then I did some homework, and I found out it's not any of that. It's not another way for the bank to get your house, and it's also not too good to be true. A reverse mortgage loan is a simple idea, really. You turn your home's equity into cash, and you pay it back when you leave the house. Most people use the money to pay off their existing mortgage or pay some bills, cover medical costs, even update their home. And, just as importantly, you still own your home. And you make no monthly mortgage payments. It's a loan designed just for older Americans, and it's helped hundreds of thousands to live a more stable, secure retirement and stay in the home they love.
AAG is the leader in reverse mortgages. Call us today for your free information kit. It will answer all your questions and help you decide if a reverse mortgage is right for you and how to qualify.
I know what you're thinking. I did too. I felt the same way. But I checked it out, and I found out a lot more. It's pretty simple. A reverse mortgage from AAG can give you the retirement stability you're looking for. Maybe you want to check it out.
If you're 62 or older and own your own home, give AAG a call to receive your free information kit. You'll receive the information you're looking for, as well as tell you how much cash you may qualify for. Call 1-800-780-6603 today.
AAG, bringing stability to your retirement.
There is sort of a magic to it. The sunsetter comes out, and then the family comes out.
The kids are loving it. It's nice to get outside and get some fresh air and not be cooped up indoors all the time.
Before we got the sunsetter, we almost never used the patio.
And when we did, we'd all be huddled underneath the umbrella. If it was sunny out, we'd be inside.
Because it was just so hot.
It was nuts.
Now that we have the sunsetter, we're spending more time outdoors.
It was like putting an extension on the house. When the kids are outside, I've always worried about them being in the sun. Under the sunsetter awning, it cuts the UV rays. There's no sun protection up here.
Let's put it this way, I gave my hats a rest.
And it's adjustable, so it's like a convertible room.
He walks around saying he controls the sun.
You just press that button, and you get as much shade or as little shade as you want.
You can't do that with a screened porch.
No.
It cools the inside of the house, too, so we're saving money with the AC.
And I do my yoga out there. It's really peaceful.
Change your life with the Sunsetter awning. Call now for your free idea kit, and we'll also include this $200 savings certificate, meaning a Sunsetter can be yours for as little as $499.
We did some research, and we did find out it's the #1 company.
We checked on the quality of the fabrics, the motor, the warranty. We got the wind sensor because sometimes you leave the awning open and a storm kicks up, so it closes itself in high wind.
They sent free fabric swatches so you can actually feel what you're getting.
I put all the different fabric samples up on the wall.
The installation was easy.
It was like the awning is coming today, and then the awning was up that afternoon.
We've had this thing for 2 or 3 years now, and it still just looks like brand new.
We honestly feel that it was an incredible value.
We're saving money, we're getting outdoors.
It really has changed our lives.
Call Sunsetter now for your free awning idea kit, packed with solutions for outdoor living, plus local dealer info. Call now and we'll also include this $200 savings certificate, so you can get a Sunsetter for as little as $499, but only for a limited time. It's not too late to enjoy a beautiful Sunsetter this season and $200 savings. Call 1-800-895-9956. 1-800-895-9956.
And welcome Welcome back. Here's a live look out of Atlanta. 90 degrees. You remember this time yesterday we had the temperatures in the 70s. That was after the storms rolled through. The temperatures dropped 20 degrees, but it's back to normal again. 90 degrees. We're expecting to see a few isolated storms for today. It looks like tomorrow we'll have a better chance. But there's a view. You can see 75, Georgia Tech. You like that view?
I'm just trying to champion the best perspective.
He is the Goldilocks of cameras.
From
He wants
Atlanta.
it just right.
I want the irony of that statement from you is overwhelming.
It is, isn't it?
It
is.
It's nice to
All
live in
right,
the city.
let's look at the southeast. And we do know we have some storms moving through. We look at Clarksville as well as Nashville. Right now you're quiet, but some of those extending down towards the west of Columbia. So we already know the moisture is in place. We've got those dew points in the 60s, the 70s. You're like, if they're in the 60s, good for you, because with that moisture around, this is going to allow for some of those storms today produce some of those heavier downpours, kind of like what we saw yesterday, because we got that stalled front that's in place, and that's where we're going to see the focus of a lot of these storms just moving in from north to south. So the front's it's going to continue to waver in the upper disturbance, creating that extra lift. For tomorrow, Keith, what do you say? Just a lot of polygons, right?
A lot of green polygons. We like that and moist flow. Those are our two favorite things to draw.
Yeah, moist flow is good.
Yeah.
All right, so then we look ahead till Friday. We've got scattered storms. We're going to be stuck in this pattern, and the same for Saturday. But look at this. This is going to include the coastal areas. Maybe you're planning a last-minute trip to the beach. I know some kids, they went back to school already. Some are going back next week. And then we look at the QPF. It looks like some of the areas very close to the coastal areas of Panama City, down towards Jacksonville on the eastern side, could be picking up anywhere between maybe 2+ inches. For New Orleans, isolated storms for you, but right now we do know it looks good today. Tomorrow, better chance. Keith.
I love when you talk QPF. Thank you, Jen. Let's take you now to Blackman Eddie Belize, where it's a little bit of a lull there. We've seen a couple of nasty bands move on in, and Belize is going to have a tough time of it tonight as Earl comes on shore as either a high-end tropical storm or a low-end hurricane. And hurricanes fall into 5 categories distinguished by the intensity of their sustained winds. The higher classification on the scale, the higher the wind speed. But do you know how your home would fare against any hurricane, big or small? Mark Elliott breaks it down.
When it comes to hurricanes, each one's impacts are a little bit different, but the wind speeds that we talk about along the Saffir-Simpson scale, those are very specific. And the damage caused in those categories, kind of predictable. So let me show you. Let's start off with a Category 1 storm. And the damage here, not too bad. A couple of shingles fall off, you can have some palm fronds bending in the wind, but everything basically remains intact. Category 2, that's where you really start to feel it. Look at the windows of the house. They can be hit from debris from the outside and already start breaking in a Category 2. Your trees are significantly bent over in the wind, and the siding of the house itself can break, flapping there in the wind, adding to those eerie noises inside. Category 3. I've heard only a Category 3, but it's not only anything except really bad news. In a Category 3, you can have the door of the house blown in because the winds get so strong. You can have the roof of the house start to flap up and down in the wind because it can lift off those weak points, and a lot of those trees start to fall. Category 4, the damage is even worse. You get most trees falling, most of your windows breaking, most of your shingles fly away, and then Cat 5 is as high as the category scale goes. By Cat 5, no shingles remain anywhere nearby. The holes in the roof get so big that the walls of the house start to fall because they're not attached to anything anymore. There won't be any trees up in the neighborhood. That's just catastrophic damage. But again, that's just from the wind, and there are other impacts from hurricanes, and they all vary through the season. So stick with the Weather Channel to keep you safe when the tropics head towards your neck of the woods.
Wow, that really just helps you visualize the damage possible. Well, we are tracking Tropical Storm Earl next with an in-depth look at where the storm is going to be making landfall in just hours.
Yeah, it looks like a high-end tropical storm right now. The question is, will it be a hurricane? No matter what, Belize will be hit pretty hard through tonight.
Are you missing out on life because you're putting off neck or back surgery?
Call Laser Spine Institute, the leader in minimally invasive spine surgery, to learn how a less than 1-inch incision can have you up and walking within a few hours of surgery, free from chronic back pain, and with no hospital stay and no lengthy recovery. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with spinal stenosis, bulging or herniated disc, sciatica, or other chronic conditions, call today for your no-cost MRI review.
When you're in that much pain and you live on painkillers, you really don't have quality of life. I feel like Laser Spine Institute was an answer to prayer. It's just the heavens had opened up, and it was like, I can live again.
If you've been told you might need neck or back surgery, call 1-855-401-BACK now for your no-cost MRI review.
Laser Spine Institute, a less than 1-inch incision, a lifetime of standing tall.
We want to encourage our people to listen to the Weather Channel.
It's a place you can turn to and trust.
The damage along the coast we think is going to be catastrophic.
The Weather Channel being here has kept the federal attention to this tragedy.
This weather is affecting people and their relatives across the country.
There's no other place that has this amount of expertise than we do right here on the Weather Channel.
When it comes to a weather situation that warrants attention, we're the place to go. It's that simple. Currently in our area, 91 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, scattered thunderstorms early, then partly cloudy after midnight. Low 79. Chance of rain 60%. Thursday, overcast. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 90. Thursday night, mostly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 79. Here's our 7-day outlook.
When did it become okay for a backpack to give up? Or sit one out? Or take it easy? Or run away from a turtle? Never. That's never been okay. Discover packs made to last at llbean.com.
Introducing the all-new Turbo 10 from Nutrisystem. Lose up to 10 pounds your first month, guaranteed.
Lose your first 10 pounds fast with the all-new Turbo 10 from Nutrisystem.
Your 10 can turn into 20, 30, 50, even more. I'm Marie and I lost 50 pounds on Nutrisystem. You'll see results right away. Count, measure, meetings, not with Nutrisystem.
Order your 28-day plan right now and we'll rush you Turbo 10. Get specially designed meals, plus 1 week of NutriCrush shakes to crush hunger free, and 1 week of new Turbo shakes to help bust belly bloat free.
Bye-bye, stubborn belly fat.
Plus FedEx shipping absolutely free. With Turbo 10, you'll lose up to 10 pounds fast. You'll love it. Money back guaranteed. Millions of people have lost weight on Nutrisystem, and you can too.
Your first 10 pounds? Gone.
Call 888-773-DIET and get Turbo 10 with shakes free.
You know, there's a fast, easy way to borrow. RiseCredit.com. With $500 to $5,000 in your account as soon as tomorrow. And with rates that actually go down over time, you can apply with confidence. Visit RiseCredit.com today.
Take a look at these barbecue trophies. Best cracked pepper sauce. Most ribs eaten while calf roping.
Yep. Greatness deserves recognition. You got any trophies, cowboy?
Yeah, well, there's this one.
Best insurance mobile app.
Yeah, 2 years in a row.
Well, I'll be. Does that thing just follow you around?
Like a little puppy.
The award-winning Geico app. Download.
I didn't realize how bad my smile was with fillings and root canals. I had to do something. I looked at partial bridges, I looked at dentures. Out of all the options, Clear Choice was the only choice for me.
At Clear Choice, we bring hope to millions who suffer from missing or failing teeth.
with dental implants that look, feel, and function like strong, natural teeth.
All the specialists with all the technology they need are in one spot. That makes delivering this 21st century world-class dentistry very easy to do, and we do it in one day.
I can laugh, people crack a joke, and I smile. It was a life-changing thing.
Call today to schedule your free comprehensive consultation and iCat 3D imaging scan. We'll even talk financing options while you're here.
They not only helped to rebuild my smile, but helped me to rebuild my self-confidence. They really set me free. I mean, look at this smile.
At Clear Choice, you're about to discover what you've been missing all these years. Call Clear Choice today.
Wow.
It wasn't just a little fear.
Don't be scared.
This was a genuine phobia.
We've got an all-new Top 10, Sunday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Well, here's a view right now at Roatan, Honduras. You can see the waves are crashing, and we're going to be looking at those big waves having a huge impact right along this area of Central America. And this is showing you the conditions going downhill for all along this area, including Honduras and, of course, Belize. So here's another view. This is an image actually coming into us. This is actually out of Costa Maya, Mexico. And this is actually a live view. You can see some rain on the camera. It looks like the camera here is actually frozen a bit because I would imagine, Keith, that the shrubbery there would actually be blowing around a little bit. It looks like the camera locked up on us. But that's what happens when you're dealing with strong winds as well, with especially tropical conditions.
Yeah, you ever see My Cousin Vinny, Carl, where it's like, you know what was between you and the sack of suds? A bunch of shrubs. There's a bunch of shrubs in the middle of that. Carl Parker here for your tropical update. And now we're on our, we got Earl here, and we'll have to see whether or not it can intensify at all in its last leg here.
Yeah, very interesting storm. It is somewhat raggedy. You notice that there's not a whole lot of really deep convection near the center of the thing. So, it's having a hard time in some respects, but in other respects it's looking pretty good, and I'll talk about that in the visible here. So it is still expected to become a hurricane as it comes into Belize, and that's going to be tonight, and then it's going to move across into northern Guatemala and also into Mexico. It may come out over the Gulf, but it's probably not going to strengthen very much as it does so, and it's just going to bring a lot of heavy rain to many parts of Mexico and Central America. Now, on the visible satellite picture, you notice how the high cloud is really fanning out in a lot of directions. So you've got a really favorable environment aloft. You can see that right in here, and then right in here, and then right in here, and then right in here.
Looks better in the visible than it does in the
image,
for
the
sure.
outflow pattern is just beautiful. So the upper levels are no problem. You've got plenty of warm water temperatures in the middle 80s. There's your developing eye wall right in there. You can see how there's some structure there and an eye showing up. The one thing that I think has been working against this is there's some dry air right in there. See that little channel, that sort of cloud-free channel? And I think that's been holding its intensity for a little while. Right. Otherwise, I think it'd be coming up more quickly. But if it can manage to fend that off and sort of reorganize its core, then it probably will get stronger and could very well be a hurricane as it comes in. There's Roatan right now getting winds out of the west at about 12 miles per hour. And there again is that eye wall that is now developing in this area.
Basically, just a breeze right now, and you had mentioned something interesting earlier that I didn't realize, but the way that the ocean shelf is set up here, it's not all that conducive to cold storm surge, which is good in this case because they're low lying.
Yeah, actually, we're going to take a look at that here right after this graphic. So we'll just show you the model forecast first, and here it is coming in. So things really going downhill around midnight our time, and then it continues to be a lot of wind and rain in Belize there, and getting into Guatemala right into tomorrow morning. Now, here's a look at the geography in the area. And so this is what we were talking about. There's a very steep continental shelf right there. So you've got a lot of slope. When you've got a very shallow shelf, and that's exactly what you see on the west coast of Florida. If you've ever been to Tampa, you can go to the beach and you can walk out forever because there's hardly any change in elevation. And that's not the case here. So that helps out with surge. And you've also got these cays in these atolls, and that too is going to mitigate the wave action somewhat. But when you've got a hurricane, it's generating very large waves, and as those waves start to pile on one another, that's called wave run-up and wave set-up, and that alone can give you a water level rise. And here's Belize City sticking out, home to 60,000 people, elevation of 1 to 2 to 3 feet.
It's very low.
And we're talking about a water level rise of 3 to 5 feet in this area, so serious coastal flooding is on the way for this area.
No, and I'm trying to remember the name, but there was a storm in the 60s, I think, that just almost destroyed Belize City because because it's so low lying. So it can't happen.
Yes, absolutely it can happen.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a photo of Belize right there, and you can see how everything's just kind of lining up, and the water's right up to the coastline there. So that's going to be one of the big worries. And there could be some structural damage with the wind as well, and we'll talk more about this at the top of the hour.
All right, thank you, Carl. Jen?
All right, coming up next, we're also going to talk more about the potential for severe weather as we go through the evening and through tomorrow. And of course, another round of summer storms. Hey, we're tracking it all here right on Weather Center Live. We'll be back in just about a minute.
Currently in our area, 91 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, scattered thunderstorms early, then partly cloudy after midnight. Low 79. Chance of rain 60%. Thursday, overcast. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 90. Thursday night, mostly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 79. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live. You're looking at a couple of views there. Belize there on the top right, and Mexico on the left there, and on the bottom, of course, is our tropical storm Earl, which Carl just broke down in detail. We're going to continue to track that. Obviously, this is going to be our story for the next 24 hours at least.
All right, so we do know hurricane warnings already up across parts of Belize as well as across parts of Honduras as we brace for tropical storm Earl. And Earl very likely to strengthen into a hurricane. We'll get to that in just a moment. But of course, a very busy afternoon shaping up for us. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jen Delgado.
And I'm Keith Carson. Earl heading towards landfall later tonight. And we're going to talk more about that with storm specialist Carl Parker in just a moment. A lot of you, though, dealing with the dangerous storm threat today. We're talking about thunderstorms in a lot of spots, heavy rains, gusty winds, even some lightning possible this hour in areas that could see more of this today, and an isolated threat of a tornado as well.
And more flooding like this is also going to be a big threat today. Look at this. This is the view. You can pretty much guess where this is coming in out of across Arizona. When you're looking at the ground there, you can see that orange. Well, we do know this is an area where dozens of cars were stuck in high water across Phoenix and Tucson. The schools had to be evacuated because of flooded roads. Just ahead, we're going to highlight some of the trouble spots as monsoon season, it's finally kicking in a big way.
All right, let's take you to Ocean Ferry, Belize here. Look at what some of the clouds will look like. Now, of course, it's always hard to tell, right, on pictures whether or not anything was darkened or whatnot, but we've seen some pretty ominous-looking squall lines coming on through Belize early in this storm as it approaches there from the east. This doesn't look as bad here, but still, you know, it's going to be a pretty good storm, if nothing else, about 70-mile-per-hour winds. Going to see some decent waves with this as it moves on shore.
All right, so time now. We want to turn it over to our storm specialist, Carl Parker. So what is the very latest? Of course, we're still waiting for the next advisory, but everybody's saying, you know, we've got the hurricane warning up already. So very likely it could become a hurricane, but a couple difference in miles.
Yeah, you know, it's just about there. So if it doesn't change very much, if it just becomes a hurricane, then not a lot of change in the impact. Maybe it does get even a little bit stronger than that, though. And right now, it's a 70-mile-per-hour storm. It's been that all day today, moving west at 14 miles per hour. May slow down a little bit later tonight, and right now the pressure is at 990. Now, as we take a look at the forecast track and intensities, we do expect that it's going to become a hurricane. That is in the forecast from the National Hurricane Center. Then beyond that, it weakens pretty dramatically, maybe some re-strengthening over the Gulf, but it's going to be tangling with a lot of very high terrain in Belize, in Guatemala, and also in Mexico, and that's going to mean very heavy rain over a really large area. So that may actually end up being the biggest biggest impact from the storm in terms of the area affected and the number of people affected. A lot of heavy rain and flooding, flash flooding, mudslides, all possible with this storm. But in the shorter term, there's a hurricane warning now in effect for the coast of Belize as well as the Bay Islands. The storm is already starting to affect the Bay Islands with the winds not terribly strong right now. And as you look at the visible satellite picture, you notice how the higher clouds are really fanning out very nicely in all directions, kind of expanding. So that indicates a really favorable environment aloft. One thing that I think may have been holding it back a little bit is the presence of some dry air right in there. You see how there's that sort of a cloud-free channel that is wrapped into the system. So if it can manage to fend that off, it's got a lot of warm water, favorable environment aloft, and I think for that reason it could actually get a good bit stronger. But not a lot of wind showing up on the coast so far. Here's Roatan in the Bay Islands. Winds out of the west now 12 miles per hour. They're probably going to get a lot stronger in the next few hours. And as we look at the radar out of Belize, we're seeing some squally weather coming on shore right now, but it's going to get a whole lot wilder into late tonight. And here's the model forecast showing you the developing eye wall right there. Could very well be a well-structured storm by that time. Late tonight, midnight Eastern time, it is crashing into the coast there in Belize, and we're seeing a lot of wave action and a water level rise as a function of those waves coming on shore, and then very heavy rain moving up into that mountainous terrain right through tomorrow morning and right through the day tomorrow. And there's a look at those strong winds that are going to be coming on shore tonight. Jen, over to you.
All right, and of course Guatemala too is going to be taking it as well. Well, now check this out. Incredible storm clouds spotted over Phoenix yesterday. Watch the time lapse. You can see pretty much the sky just kind of disappeared at times as the rain just comes pouring out of the clouds onto the city. You're saying, but wait a minute, why is this happening? This is the monsoon season. This is what happens every year. This is how we get that water, that money in the bank that we call that we need. Yesterday, they picked up as much as 2 inches of rainfall in just 1 hour. Now that sounds great, but the problem is when you're talking about an arid area, of course, this is going to lead to problems with flooding. And that's why we showed you those images of cars being stranded. It's just too much water and it leads to an extreme amount of runoff. So now we go to the northern plains and what's spinning over Canada. You can see our next disturbance and that one bringing in with it a trailing cold front. With that front in place, we are going to see those storms developing. And right now it looks pretty quiet, but as we go throughout the afternoon and the evening hours, we'll continue to see more coverage of storms, and this is also going to play into Thursday as well. So we look at these cities like Bismarck as well as Rapid City, just some scattered storms. But as we go throughout the evening hours for you, especially Fargo, South Dakota, this is going to happen. And then, of course, by tomorrow, we're going to start to see the sky clearing out, and it's also going to be cooling down. Some of these temperatures are going to drop almost 10 degrees. So as we go through tonight, we do have a chance of an isolated tornado, and the greatest threat for that is going to be, it really looks like in the eastern part of North Dakota. That's where we have a torcon of 3. When we talk about these torcons, that means we have a 30% chance on a scale of 1 to 10. So heads up for you, that's within a 50-mile location. And then we look into tomorrow, that energy, it shifts over towards the east. But ahead of that, we got that warm, moist air moving into the same region. We'll kick off more of those storms. And at the same time, we've got that upper level energy producing that extra lift. So for tomorrow, for La Crosse as well as Des Moines, and then we shoot it over to Friday. We're spreading into parts of the Great Lakes, especially into parts of Michigan. For Thursday, 85 degrees, and then Minneapolis, look how gorgeous you're going to be. 81 degrees, much cooler for your Friday. Keith.
All right, thank you, Jen. Well, coming up, spiraling winds, these storms churning slowly across the ocean. Only on the Weather Channel, a unique look at how hurricanes form. You won't want to miss this. It's right after the break.
Here come the last of the 2016s.
I love this part. Stylish Prius, sporty Camry, fun Corolla, adventurous RAV4, they're all here. But not for long.
Hurry in for Toyota's annual clearance event where you can find 0% APR financing for 72 months on the 2016 Camry. Offer ends September 6th. For more great deals, visit Toyota.com.
Come in and get the 2016 Toyota you want before they are gone.
Toyota, let's go places.
So do you know anybody who's met on Match?
A girl that I was really interested in found a boyfriend on Match before I could make the conversion. I was actually kind of bummed.
You're not going to let that happen again, right?
Never again.
Never again.
Important IVC medical alert. Are you at risk of serious injury? Act now to prevent it. Recent studies show IVC filters intended to stop blood clots from reaching the heart and lungs often fail, even years later, and cause internal bleeding, organ puncture, or death. Now the FDA is advising they be removed. If you have an IVC filter, you may be unaware of your injury, or you may be able to prevent it. Call now for a free consultation regarding potential compensation at 1-800-800-1102.
Hi, Linda. Looks like you've got a prescription to fill. The exact same drug that's $10 at this pharmacy is $150 at this one. GoodRx finds prices and discount coupons on every prescription. Just input the drug name and instantly find savings at virtually every pharmacy in America.
Here's my prescription, and I have a coupon from GoodRx.
Go to GoodRx.com and compare, print, and save for free. Stop paying too much for your prescriptions. Print your free coupon at GoodRx.com today.
Opening ceremony of the 2016 Olympic Games from Rio. Friday, 7:30, 6:30 Central on NBC.
Currently in our area, 91 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 79. Chance of rain, 80%. Thursday, cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High, 90. Thursday night, considerable cloudiness. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low, 79. Here's our 7-day outlook.
It wasn't just a little fear.
Don't be scared.
This was a genuine phobia.
We've got an all-new Top 10. Sunday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Anything meant to stand needs a stable foundation. A body without proper foot support can mean pain. The Dr. Scholl's kiosk maps your feet and recommends our custom-fit orthotic to stabilize your foundation and relieve foot, knee, or lower back pain from being on your feet. Dr. Scholl's.
Your paycheck. Your family depends on it. But if something happened to you, you need life insurance. And chances are SelectQuote can get it for you for under $1 a day. SelectQuote found Alec, 38, a $500,000 policy for under $23 a month. SelectQuote found Kenesha, 39, a $350,000 policy for under $14 a month. SelectQuote's secret? They impartially shop a select group of highly rated companies like these for your best rates. Give your family the security it needs at a price you can afford.
Since 1985, SelectQuote has saved over 1 million families millions of dollars on life insurance. Call now or go to SelectQuote.com. Discover what over 1 million families know. We shop, you save.
1-800-352-8300.
And welcome back. We have a view coming from San Ignacio, Belize. This is the western area of Belize, very close to the border of Guatemala. And you can see the rain coming down. This is in a region that we're certainly concerned about for the potential for the heavy rainfall, and especially as it moves to the west with Tropical Storm Earl potentially becoming a hurricane and squeezing out so much moisture. So this whole region is potentially under a big danger. Keith.
All right, thank you. Let's look at Tropical Storm Earl now. High-end tropical storm, winds at 70 miles an hour right now. You know, whether or not it becomes a hurricane, it's kind of running out of time. If it does so, it will be a last-minute situation, and it won't really change the impacts of the storm system at all. That 4 miles an hour is not really going to matter. Hurricane warnings in effect, though, for Belize City. Again, a low-lying area, obviously. And, you know, it kind of scooted by the rest of the islands for the most part on the south side through Jamaica and even the south side of the Cayman Islands. So this wind core may be slightly exaggerated when you look at it on this model, but the idea is that your purples there are your heavier winds, and they come on shore. Here we are around 10 or 11 o'clock tonight, so maybe some of the biggest impacts will be around midnight, 1 a.m. Eastern time here. And by the way, we will be on the Weather Channel during the overnight hours to give you the latest on this storm system. And during hurricane development, certain characteristics become more prominent as the storm strengthens. Now, in a way, only the way the Weather Channel can show you, Jim Cantore breaks down the anatomy of a hurricane.
One of the most amazing concoctions that Mother Nature can stir up are hurricanes. These are huge heat engines that can expand hundreds of miles wide and unfortunately produce a tremendous amount of destruction. Their purpose is to take the heat from the tropics and distribute it poleward. Unfortunately, sometimes land masses get in the way. Well, with every engine, you need fuel. Water temperatures around 80 degrees. Let's bring this hurricane down and talk a little bit about it. As that warm, moist air rises, cools, condenses, towers develop, they get up there 20, 30, 40,000 feet. Then you have to evacuate that air in a process that we call outflow channels. So if you have low pressure at the surface, you need high pressure aloft to pretty much continue this harmonic process. And it's amazing, as big and as beastly as these things are, there are things that can disrupt the process. Cooler water, dry air in the surrounding atmosphere, and the biggest thing perhaps is wind shear. We know that strong wind shear can allow the system to tilt. Instead of having this nice vertical column that's going up in the middle and developing a hurricane, now you've got, check this out as we go under, a system where that updraft is now tilted off to the right and the storm becomes sometimes decoupled. So you can even see on a satellite picture sometimes a surface circulation, a low cloud swirl, if you will, and all the thunderstorms juxtaposed off in the direction of the shear. So it's kind of an amazing process. In light wind shear, now you've got a system that can grow and intensify and even further expand in time. So let's take the clouds away and give you a nice slice of what this thing actually looks like, because as the storm is maturing, one of the things we look at on satellite and sometimes radar if it's close enough to the coast are features we call rain bands. These help to feed that warm, moist air into the center, creating, especially as the pressure's lower, the most powerful part of the hurricane. We call it the eye wall. It can be anywhere from 6 to even 30 miles wide and is the most destructive part of the hurricane. It has the strongest winds, and in the northern hemisphere on the right side of it, it has the highest storm surge, typically, right near that eye. So with the eye wall comes the eye. As violent as that is, in the middle of all that, there's not even a breeze. Winds are zero, they're calm. And when you see Hurricane Hunter aircraft out there or get a nice satellite picture, sometimes you can see right through that eye. It's clear as a bell all the way down to the ocean surface to a very turbulent ocean surface at that. So you know that the wind field surrounding these big hurricanes can produce a very, very turbulent and even rising ocean in spots. Nature's heat engines, the hurricane.
All right, Jim Cantore giving you a look inside a hurricane. Well, interstates are closed and roads are flooded, where flash floods made a huge mess for drivers and who could be in for more monsoon moisture. And now let's go to the south. We look at the coast of Belize. This is another image coming into us showing you the waves getting a bit more choppy as we're bracing for landfall of Tropical Storm Earl. Hurricane warnings already up across the Belize coastline.
You do know the experts at Midas will tell you what needs fixing now and what can wait, right? Like, I don't know, brakes?
Of course I do. Get the Midas Oil Change Plus with tire rotation for only $19.99, up to $5 disposal fee. Use your Midas credit card and get $20 back by mail. Get an appointment at Midas.com.
I thought I married an Italian.
My lineage was the Vecchios and Zuccolis. Through Ancestry, through the DNA, I found out that I was only 16% Italian.
He was 34% Eastern European. So I went on to Ancestry, soon learned that one of our ancestors we thought was Italian was Eastern European.
This is my ancestor I didn't know about. He looks a little bit like me, yes.
Ancestry has many paths to discovering your story. Get started for free at Ancestry.com.
I laugh, I sneeze, there goes my sensitive bladder. Sound familiar? Then you'll love this. Incredible protection in a pad this thin. I didn't think it would work, but it does. It's called Always Discreet. Watch this. The super absorbent core turns liquid to gel for incredible protection that's surprisingly thin. So I know I'm wearing it, but no one else will. Always discreet for bladder leaks.
You show up. You stay up. You listen. You laugh. You worry. You do whatever it takes to take care of your family. And when it's time to plan for your family's future, we're here for you. We're LegalZoom. And for over 10 years, we've helped families just like yours with wills and living trusts. So when you're ready, start with us. Doing the right thing has never been easier. LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
Every day you get to accept things as they are or take responsibility for changing them.
The people of Flint, Michigan, it's like we don't matter.
It's such a real issue that's right in front of us.
Climate, environment, science, technology. Let's have a conversation. And together, we can solve these things.
23.5 degrees, Tuesday nights at 11 on the web.
Mission Control, we're coming up on a nasty-looking hurricane. Copy?
This is Mission Control. We meant to tell you that hurricane is heading straight for where you live.
Copy that. It's a good thing I have Weston Insurance.
Weston Insurance? What's that?
Weston insures homes and businesses for property damage from windstorms, including hurricanes.
What about properties near the coast?
Yes, Weston insures coastal properties too.
Well, I'll have to call Weston Insurance.
Roger that. Weston Insurance, for when the wind blows.
It's a golden opportunity to discover the power of the human hand, the ability of a Lexus Master Craftsman to turn an ordinary experience into an extraordinary one. For a limited time, get some of the best offers of the year on our most refined vehicles at the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Lease the 2016 ES350 for $329 a month for 36 months, and we'll make your first month's payment. See your Lexus dealer.
It wasn't just a little fear.
Don't be scared.
This was a genuine phobia.
We've got an all-new Top 10, Sunday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 90 degrees with thunderstorms in the area. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 79. Chance of rain, 80%. Thursday, cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 90. Thursday night, considerable cloudiness. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 79. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Well, that is the sound of an incredible storm that rolled through Plant City, Florida. And you can hear some of the thunder and, of course, see the wind just whipping around that rain. Came down pretty good in Plant City, as well as Miami yesterday. Some parts of Florida have picked up 2 to 3 inches of rainfall. Now we look at New Orleans, and there's the view, really quiet. I mean, nobody is out right now. This is a really kind of a quaint section, I would imagine. Not the typical what you think of French Quarter scene. 80. Yeah, 88 degrees.
Yeah.
And so we look at the southeast. Yeah, I saw somebody walking by. And we look at the southeast, and we do know we have some storms that are moving through the south. And we said this all along, that we were kind of looking at the area of North Carolina, potentially having some problems with some flooding. We have a brand new flash flood warning. This goes for the city of Statesville as well as Troutman until 5 o'clock. Just off camera, looked at some video coming out of Statesville High School. Water everywhere on the field. So this has picked up a tremendous amount of rainfall. This is just southwest of Winston-Salem. So we look ahead for tomorrow, more storms around. We got that boundary. It's not going anywhere. That's going to be the fuel for more of those storms to move through, mostly from that north to south direction. And we'll also see those making their way into parts of Florida. For Atlanta, at least your dealing with the 80s as we go through Thursday into Friday. Still very close to 90 degrees Saturday. It's going to be kind of the pick day of the weekend. Looks like it's going to be dry, but by Sunday, isolated storms return. And then for Orlando, off and on storms all the way through the weekend. I would imagine a lot of people heading to Orlando, Keith, last minute vacations.
Yeah, and it's, you know, Disney and all that. You got to go there as a kid. As an adult, flooding making a mess in Phoenix yesterday. It doesn't take that much rain down that neck of the woods to cause some problems. You can see this is on Interstate 17 where they flooded out roads for a while. They had to close it down. Airport only 0.15 inches of rain. Let's take it to Phoenix right now where it's a little bit of cloud cover around. This is much more cloud cover you're going to see during their dry season, right? So this is part of monsoon season. You see more showers and storms kind of popping on up. And this is an active phase in the monsoon. You do get phases where there's not that much activity, even in July, August, even September. But this is an active phase. Let's have a look at it right now. And you can see a few showers and storms just to the north of Phoenix right now. A lot of New Mexico lighting up. So all this convection, which may look like nothing to you down in the southeast, it's kind of a typical day there, means it's really a kind of a peak monsoon day. The bad thing with all of this, there's a positive obviously to getting rain in an arid location, is that the soil doesn't do too well absorbing it. So you take a look at these areas that are dealing with flash flood warnings, and those are triggered much more easily than they would be in a lot of other places in the country. So you get an inch of rain in Louisiana, you're not going to have a flash flood warning unless you got 15 inches the day before. But down here, it's different. You end up seeing that rain not really be able to drain very quickly. Dew point's pretty high for this neck of the woods as well, upper 60s here. Vegas 55, that's borderline, but you can go to Vegas and the dew point can be 14. I've actually gotten out of the pool in Vegas when it's hot and been chilly right after because the dew point is so low that it cools you off, dries you off so quickly. Flash flood watches in effect, Flagstaff, Vegas included, Albuquerque as well. Basically the entire area that's under the influence of this monsoon as it flares up is going to have the chance at least for some higher flooding potential. It's going to be more localized. You're not going to see big flash flood warnings, but there'll be a few of them around. General premise behind the monsoon is a semi-permanent feature this time of the year as the moisture comes in from the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of California, kind of converging across this area, and then you just see additional moisture when you get anything in the area that's kind of upstream can give it a little bit more kick and lift. So showers and storms through tomorrow again, some heavier downpours and the possibility at least of some flooding. Jen?
All right, we do know the monsoon was a little late this year, so we'll take the rainfall now. So more to come on Weather Center Live. Of course, we have around the clock coverage of Tropical Storm Earl. It's just getting started. We're just hours away, but right now hurricane warnings are already up across Central America. We'll be back.
Your brain is an amazing thing, but as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. In clinical trials, Prevagen has been shown to improve short-term memory. Prevagen, the name to remember.
Hello, folks. I'm Rosalie Michaels, and I'm here with former Dallas Cowboys quarterback Danny White, and we're talking about home safety. Thanks so much for coming in, Danny.
Thanks for inviting me.
So tell us, why are you so passionate about people protecting their homes?
Rosalie, most of the success that I had as the Dallas Cowboys quarterback came as a result of other people protecting me and the confidence that I had that they would protect me. Well, I think that applies to life as well. You know, everybody deserves protection, and what's more important than protecting your home and the people you love?
Absolutely. You know, our homes, our pets, our family, all very important. So I heard that you've been working to come up with an offer to help people protect their homes. Is that right?
That's right. Our mission is to ensure that everyone receives the protection that they need. So we've come up with an offer that's very affordable that I think all the folks at home will absolutely love. Listen to this. We're offering a brand new home security system free. $850 value, free of charge. And this is the new wireless system. It doesn't require any pre-wiring, doesn't require any unnecessary holes in your walls. So everyone watching today can take advantage of this limited time offer.
Wow, and it's kind of hard to beat free. So tell us about monitoring.
Well, you get 24/7 monitoring for burglar, fire, and medical emergencies from ADT, the #1 home security company in America. And professional installation is only $99, and monitoring is about $1 a day. trust me, there's no better investment you can make for the things that matter most.
And that is very affordable. But is there anything else you could give callers who want to take advantage of this offer?
As a matter of fact, the first 20 callers to order will receive a $100 Visa gift card plus 2 wireless keychain remotes free of charge. So call now and we'll help you protect your home.
To get this special offer, call 888-290-7407. That's 888-290-7407.
Who chooses Amica for car insurance? People who put a lot of thought into this decision.
You get a quote yet?
I research, I absorb, and then I pounce. If you're looking for something different and something better, call Amica for a free auto insurance quote. You'll always get the help you need when you call Amica. You can do the research and see what Amica customers say, or call this number right now and experience it for yourself. Okay, that sounds good. This sounds great. Call for your free quote right now. Welcome to Amica. This is helpfulness. Insured.
Rise. It's a fast way to borrow. With cash in your account as soon as tomorrow. Helping you get back to what matters most. Visit risecredit.com today.
A generation has grown up trusting the Weather Channel, relying on us for the most trusted storm coverage.
There is still a lot of flooding. There's a tornado.
And now choosing us as the highest ranked TV news brand. Where you get your weather matters. So thank you for trusting the leading experts in weather.
Currently in our area, 90 degrees with thunderstorms in the area. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 79. Chance of rain, 80%. Thursday, cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 90. Thursday night, considerable cloudiness. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 79. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Closed captioning brought to you by Beltone, your premier hearing care partner.
Beltone is conducting a new trial on innovative hearing technology. You will be asked to evaluate a remarkable product that's virtually invisible. Call 1-800-BELTONE.
Welcome back. You're watching Weather Center Live, and here's the view out of Belize City, Belize. You see the clouds building in. Let me tell you, the conditions are going to go downhill very quickly. Rough seas already setting up, and hotels are boarding up in preparation for Tropical Storm Earl.
Yeah, boarding up the windows there. You can see, I've never been to Belize City, and hopefully when all of this passes, it is actually looks beautiful, even in this setting. Josh Morgan, by the way, is going to be live for us, I think, in a few hours. He's down in that neck of the woods. He's our veteran, goes everywhere kind of storm reporter for us.
Yeah, we talked to him last time when he was in Taiwan. Of course, with the big storm that made landfall there, he goes all over the place. And of course, we'll be getting those images into you. It is hour. You're watching Weather Center Live. I'm Jen Delgado.
And I'm Keith Carson. We'll get to your threat there as far as what's going on. But we're going to start obviously with Earl, which is just hours away from making landfall. I had a nice scan to it for a while. Right now it's kind of in between. It's a high-end tropical storm running out of real estate, if you will, if it wants to strengthen into a hurricane.
Yeah, it was so aggressive with its forward speed yesterday. Now it's slowed down to pace about 14 miles per hour. Pressure 990, winds at 70. But of course, we're going to get more detailed information and dialysis or diagnostic.
I think dialysis is
I'm
like
trying to.
If you're sick.
Yes.
Let's go to Carl Parker now.
Right, we
Carl,
might.
give us some analysis on this
you.
storm.
All right, so in a lot of ways the environment looks really healthy for this thing. So we do think it does have potential to continue to strengthen over the next several hours here. And right now a 70-mile-per-hour tropical storm, but it's we're on the cusp of becoming a hurricane, and it could very easily do that. And in fact, may climb well into Category 1 territory. And you notice one thing that really pops out is how the high cloud is just expanding there. So that's a favorable upper level environment where you've got lighter winds aloft, an area of high pressure aloft, and that is really ideal for strengthening with a tropical system. It's also over very warm water, so there's plenty of instability for this thing. It's going to run out of time, of course. It's probably going to start to come on shore in about 10 hours or so, and that's going to help us out. At least we'll limit the intensity, we think, to Category 1 most likely. So there's the official forecast from the Hurricane Center, bringing it in late tonight and early tomorrow morning, and then it continues to slowly come across parts of Mexico and also Guatemala. We've got a new update here, and you notice that it's just a little farther to the north, and then beyond that, the storm may continue out into the southern part of the Gulf of Mexico. So this is the brand new forecast track from the Hurricane Center. New numbers now, really no change. 70-mile-per-hour storm moving west at 14 miles per hour. So pretty much what we've seen all day today. But again, this is the forecast track, and I don't know if you saw that jump there, but a little bit of a shift to the north that reflects what we're seeing on the satellite picture right now. And it looks like it may come in maybe right into Belize City and affect areas in the northern half of Belize more than the southern half of Belize. And then, because of that track shifting a little more north, it's got a better chance of coming back out over the open water, at which time it may strengthen somewhat, maybe back into a mid-grade tropical storm before it makes a second landfall in Mexico. There are the advisories, hurricane warnings now in effect here along the coast of Belize, as well as in the Bay Islands. It looks like the very worst of the storm is probably going to stay to the north of the Bay Islands, which are right there. It's this little group of islands, including Roatan. And you see how this developing eye wall is sitting to the north of that, and there actually is not a lot of weather that's affecting those islands right now. There's been some drier air that has wrapped into the system, and so it's a little bit lopsided right now, but we are seeing a big blow up of thunderstorms right on that eye wall. So the eye wall is trying to fend that off and get a little more organized, and again, it's still got some time to do that and a lot of things in its favor, and that's why we think it could very well become a hurricane. So here is a model forecast showing you it moving in to Belize City there, and maybe a little farther to the north than what this model is representing. But the upshot is that Belize City is most likely going to be hammered by the storm. If it does manage to get a little farther north, that's going to be better in terms of the onshore flow and the potential for a water level rise there in Belize City. And we'll talk more about that coming up a little bit later in the show. Keith, over to you.
All right, thank you, Carl. You know, speaking of water level rise, we want to talk about storm surge, and you're going to hear it thrown a lot over the next couple of months as we go through hurricane season. What exactly is it, and how does it happen? Well, you look at your hurricane here. Obviously, this is kind of the idealized or the most horrible version of a hurricane as far as its symmetry, but the idea is on the front right quadrant of this, you're going to get winds that are piling up, and it kind of depends on where exactly the coastline is as to where the storm surge would be worse, depending on the wind direction. But the idea behind storm surge is that you're piling up that water and pushing it onshore. So do not confuse it with wave height. You can have some big waves, and that is independent of whether or not you have that storm surge, which is that rise in the sea level, and the wind direction kind of pushing that all onshore. And that's something that piles up, and it can go pretty far inland. And that's the amazing thing about storm surge. It's something that is very powerful and something that's very destructive, unfortunately. And you look at storms, even like Katrina, and obviously the winds were very strong, but when you really think about it, it was storm surge that had the biggest impact, and that forward motion piling it on, and 30 miles inland is as far as this water can get in an unfortunate situation in which everything kind of comes together. The slow speed of a storm can help create bigger storm surge as well, as you get more time for these winds to pile that water in the same direction. So storm surge is something you're going to hear a lot about during tropical season, and now hopefully you have a better idea what this is all about. Jen?
All right, we'll be watching out for that all across parts of Central America. Well, we go to the north, and this is a totally different view coming out of Sioux Falls, North Dakota. Really quiet view right now, but you can start to see a little bit of a brightening, I would say, of the sky, a touch from the last hour, but overall clouds are dominating, and those clouds are going to continue to build as we go through tonight as well as tomorrow. We've got a threat for severe weather setting up for the northern plains, and then of course it moves over to the northern parts of the Great Lakes. So here's what's what's happening on the water vapor imagery. It all stands out with spinning through parts of the Canadian border. You can see where we have that upper disturbance, and there's that front that's coming through. We're going to see some storms being kicked off with this front as it pushes through. Right now, things are really quiet. If you look at the radar, you just see some scattered storms really kind of to the southwest of Rapid City. But as we go throughout tonight as well as tomorrow, we'll continue to see more of those storms firing up and spreading in coverage from west to east for Bismarck as well as Pierre, even into Fargo. In addition to this region, we're also looking at the threat for the possibility of an isolated tornado. So we can't rule that out. Again, one on the lower end scale, we're talking on a Torcon of a scale of 1 to 10. We have a 3. That means a 30% chance. But I think you have a better chance of seeing potentially some sizable hail causing some damage, maybe 1 inch or plus, especially in that eastern part of North Dakota. Same for South Dakota. That same energy in that front moves over to the east tomorrow. We've got that energy coming in from the jet stream, kicking off that better chance for some storms to arrive for Duluth, Marquette, all the way down towards Des Moines. You can see where it's trailing with that front. And then for Minneapolis, you've got storms around your Thursday, but then you're rewarded by Friday. We're looking at sunshine and the temperature 81 degrees. We're going to cool things off for the next couple of days. We'll see some of those temperatures running almost 10 degrees below average. And then for Friday, adding in more areas for the threat for some rainfall. That includes western parts of New York, Pennsylvania, eventually into New England, where they actually need more rainfall. Still dealing with the drought there, but for Chicago, we do know your rain chances comes early on Friday.
You're right about that, Jen. We could use some rain across parts of the Northeast. We're keeping a close eye on all that, plus Tropical Storm Earl, obviously, as our coverage continues. We're giving you a breakdown of hurricane categories and round after round of summer storms across the Southeast. That's what we'll be dealing with as you head into the afternoon and evening. We'll give you a breakdown on that as Weather Center Live continues. Let's take you out, though, in Belize, where we're getting some images in from the front end of this storm system. Some low cloudiness, a couple of gusts as far as the winds have gone, but we think the worst of Tropical Storm Earl for Belize City will be later on this evening around midnight time as it moves onshore as a high-end tropical storm or low-end hurricane.
Currently in our area, 89 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 79. Chance of rain 80%. Thursday, cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 90. Thursday night, considerable cloudiness. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 79. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Seems we've hit a roadblock.
That reminds me. Anyone have occasional constipation, diarrhea, gas, bloating?
Yes.
One Philips Colon Health probiotic cap each day helps defend against occasional digestive issues with 3 types of good bacteria. Live the regular life. Philips.
Hi, Linda. Looks like you've got a prescription to fill. The exact same drug that's $10 at this pharmacy is $150 at this one. GoodRx finds prices and discount coupons on every prescription. Just input the drug name and instantly find savings at virtually every pharmacy in America.
Here's my prescription, and I have a coupon from GoodRx.
Go to GoodRx.com and compare, print, and save for free. Stop paying too much for your prescriptions. Print your free coupon at GoodRx.com today.
The days of cord hassles are numbered. Dyson's cord-free format transforms cleaning on carpets and hard floors. With a light, powerful digital motor, it adapts easily to clean here, pretty much anywhere, without the hassle of a cord.
Save up to $150 on select Dyson technology.
If you or a loved one have an IVC filter device that was implanted to prevent blood clots, call Flint Firm now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. IVC filters can possibly move or break, causing serious complications, including tearing of the heart or lungs, internal bleeding, pulmonary embolism, or even death. Time is limited to file your claim. Call the number on your screen now. Flint Firm attorneys are available for your free IVC filter consultation. Call 1-800-429-1075. That's 1-800-429-1075.
Approaching Medicare eligibility? You may think you can put off checking out your Medicare options until you're 65. But now is a good time to get the ball rolling. Keep in mind, Medicare only covers about 80% of Part B medical costs. The rest is up to you. That's where AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plans, insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company, come in. Like all standardized Medicare supplement insurance plans, they could help pay some of what Medicare doesn't, saving you in out-of-pocket medical costs. You've learned that taking informed steps along the way really makes a difference later. That's what it means to go long. Call now and request this free decision guide. It's full of information on Medicare and the range of AARP Medicare supplement plans to choose from, based on your needs and budget. All plans like these let you choose any doctor or hospital that accepts Medicare patients, and there are no network restrictions. United Healthcare Insurance Company has over 30 years' experience and the commitment to roll along with you, keeping you on course. So call now and discover how an AARP Medicare supplement plan could go long for you. These are the only Medicare supplement insurance plans endorsed by AARP, an organization serving the needs of people 50 and over for generations. Plus, 9 out of 10 plan members surveyed say they would recommend their plan to a friend. Remember, Medicare doesn't cover everything. The rest is up to you. Call now. Request your free decision guide and start gathering the information you need to help you keep rolling with confidence. Go long.
Many sleep aids have pain medicine, but ZzzQuil is different. Because why would you take a pain medicine when all you want is good sleep? ZzzQuil, a non-habit-forming sleep aid that's not for pain, just for sleep.
And welcome back. We have some news in to us right now. We wanted to let you know we have a tornado watch that's been issued until 11 o'clock tonight for North Dakota, Minnesota. So that means this whole area potentially looking at the threat for some of these supercells produce tornadoes. In addition to that, we're also looking at some sizable hail. Now to the south of that in Aberdeen, South Dakota, we have a severe thunderstorm watch. These both go until 11 o'clock tonight. And we just told you across parts of the northern plains, that's where we're going to see the better chance to see potentially some of those storms firing up. And right now we do know those storms are just to the west and we have a cold front that is going to be approaching. So of course we're going to continue to follow that, as well as Tropical Storm Earl. Of course, we do know that's going to be affecting, it is affecting parts of Belize right now. But let's look closer to home here across the southeast. We have scattered storms around, and some of these producing some heavy rainfall as we speak. We show you, we look across parts of North Carolina, you can see where that's coming into play. A line of storms. Also had some reports earlier, I think it was out of Statesville, that had some flooding at a high school in the field. So these areas are looking at a lot of moisture to work with. This is leading to some of the heavier downpours. In fact, let's look at Nashville. Storms are just right on top of you. Maybe if you're driving along 2465, expect to see some of these storms bringing with it some of those gusty winds, and the same for parts of North Carolina. Got all that moisture that's in place, kind of the same recipe what we had yesterday for today and tomorrow. And this is going to continue to Friday because we have this front that's in place. It's not going anywhere, and this is where we're going to continue to see these storms just really firing up along the boundary. It's going to kind of waver to north to south, but this is the location that we're looking at right now. Anywhere from Atlanta up towards Charlotte, as well as into Nashville, and kind of the green on the map. Keith, you've been saying it's just going to be kind of the same setup. Not everybody's going to get it, but if you do, good for you, get some welcome rain.
Yeah, it's one of those, not fun to make graphics for it, but that's what it is down across the southeast. Hey, it doesn't look so bad. Playa del Carmen, Mexico right now. Look at that, we got people in their bikinis out there just hanging around. It's a little breezy though. It is a little breezy. So that's something we're going to be watching.
Juicy bikinis.
Yeah, well, what's a bikini? It's a swimsuit.
I'm just playing with you. All right.
Anyways, hurricane categories. They fall into different ones distinguished by the intensity of the sustained winds. The higher the classification in the scale, the higher the wind speed. But do you know how your home would fare against a hurricane, strong or weak? Meteorologist Mark Elliott breaks it down.
When it comes to hurricanes, each one's impacts are a little bit different, but the wind speeds that we talk about along the Saffir-Simpson scale, those are very specific. And the damage caused in those categories, kind of predictable. So let me show you. Let's start off with a Category 1 storm. And the damage here, not too bad. A couple of shingles fall off, you can have some palm fronds bending in the wind, but everything basically remains intact. Category 2, that's where you really start to feel it. Look at the windows of the house. They can be hit from debris from the outside and already start breaking in a Category 2. Your trees are significantly bent over in the wind, and the siding of the house itself can break, flapping there in the wind, adding to those eerie noises inside. Category 3. I've heard only a Category 3, but it's not only anything except really bad news. In a Category 3, you can have the door of the house blown in because the winds get so strong. You can have the roof of the house start to flap up and down in the wind because it can lift off those weak points, and a lot of those trees start to fall. Category 4, the damage is even worse. You get most trees falling, most of your windows breaking, most of your shingles fly away, and then Cat 5 is as high as the category scale goes. By Cat 5, no shingles remain anywhere nearby. The holes in the roof get so big that the walls of the house start to fall because they're not attached to anything anymore. There won't be any trees up in the neighborhood. That's just catastrophic damage. But again, that's just from the wind, and there are other impacts from hurricanes, and they all vary through the season. So stick with the Weather Channel to keep you safe when the tropics head towards your neck of the woods.
All right, there's Earl out there. Still a high-end tropical storm. We'll be tracking this storm throughout the evening. Stay with us here on the Weather Channel.
Introducing the all-new Turbo 10 from Nutrisystem. Lose up to 10 pounds your first month, guaranteed.
Lose your first 10 pounds fast with the all-new Turbo 10 from Nutrisystem.
Your 10 can turn into 20, 30, 50, even more. I'm Marie and I lost 50 pounds on Nutrisystem. You'll see results right away. Count, measure, meetings? Not with Nutrisystem.
Order your 28-day plan right now and we'll rush you Turbo 10. Get specially designed meals, plus 1 week of NutriCrush shakes to crush hunger free, and 1 week of new Turbo shakes to help bust belly bloat free.
Bye-bye, stubborn belly fat.
Plus, FedEx shipping absolutely free. With Turbo 10, you'll lose up to 10 pounds fast. You'll love it. Money back guaranteed. Millions of people have lost weight on Nutrisystem, and you can too.
Your first 10 pounds? Gone.
Call 888-773-DIET and get Turbo 10 with shakes free.
Weekend Recharge is... It's just a thing. I don't know.
Weekend Recharge, great place to learn something about the weather and to have a couple of laughs.
We got a cold stretch. Hey!
You forgot to pay the bill?
Whoops!
It just got weird. Sort of the Weather Channel's way of dialing it back.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's a lot of fun.
Currently in our area, 89 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 79. Chance of rain, 80%. Thursday, cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 90. Thursday night, considerable cloudiness. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 79. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Honey, is the internet back yet?
Yes!
I
I need to let her know that I'd like this. I'd like.
I haven't seen a movie based on a comic book in so long.
I know.
We're over here, Internet people!
Get high-speed internet from AT&T with over 99% reliability at an everyday price with no extra monthly fees. Keep calm, your internet's on.
You show up. You stay up. You listen. You laugh. You worry. You do whatever it takes to take care of your family. And when it's time to plan for your family's future, we're here for you. We're LegalZoom. And for over 10 years, we've helped families just like yours with wills and living trusts. So when you're ready, start with us. Doing the right thing has never been easier. LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
Blue the dog here for Propane. You know, I'm just a humble dog. I didn't attend the elite boarding kennels, but I do know that nothing beats the freedom of living out here. With Propane, people can live where they want and just as cozy as they want. Whether it's a hot bath, no thank you, a warm bedroom, or a perfectly grilled steak. Drop it. Drop it. Drop it. Proudly independent, proudly American, proudly Propane.
Welcome to HelloFresh. We create the most delicious step-by-step recipes, source the freshest ingredients in just the right quantities, and deliver them straight to your door. To get $20 off your first box, go to HelloFresh.com and use promo code TV.
You both have a perfect driving record.
Perfect.
No tickets, no accidents.
That is until one of you clips a food truck, ruining your perfect record.
Yeah.
Now, you would think your insurance company would cut you some slack, right?
No, your insurance rates go through the roof. Your perfect record doesn't get you anything.
Anything.
Perfect.
For drivers with accident forgiveness, Liberty Mutual won't raise your rates due to your first accident. Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
More than 2 times the number of people die in the U.S. from preventable medical errors than the total number of babies born in the entire state of Florida each year. In fact, medical malpractice is the 3rd leading cause of death in this country.
If you or a loved one have been a victim of medical malpractice, you need an experienced legal team to protect your rights.
Visit our website or call and let us put our over 200 years combined legal experience to work for you.
Schuler, Halverson, Weiser, Zeller, and Overbeck.
Find brands you love and deals you love on QVC.com. Find what you love what you find.
Ow.
It wasn't just a little fear.
Don't be scared. This was a genuine phobia.
We've got an all-new Top 10, Sunday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
And welcome back. We have a view out of San Pedro Belize showing you the winds are already really starting to pick up. There's a view out of a hotel. It's showing the palm trees blowing around. If you look real closely, you can see the waves actually looking a little bit angry and also some rain coming down. But certainly the conditions are going to go quickly downhill. Right now we turn it over to Keith Carson as well as Carl Parker, our storm specialist, for expert coverage.
Yeah, let's take a look at this thing, Carl. And it had a brief moment where it looked a little disorganized. Interesting flare-up and convection around the center right now.
Right, and we talked about that last hour about the fact that there was some drier air getting involved there, but sometimes the systems will fend that off after a time, and I think that might be what's happening now as we're starting to see a new blow-up near the center. But the thing that really pops out to me is the way the upper-level cloud is just spreading out so beautifully in every direction. So the upper-level environment is really favorable right now. The water temperatures are very warm. You know, apart from the fact that some dry air got involved with this system, I think that really going forward, there's a lot going forward in terms of strengthening, and so it's most likely going to become a hurricane. And in fact, the hurricane hunters have been down in the system, and with a device called the SFMR, they can scan the sea surface and get a sense of the winds. And right now, they're showing that winds are probably getting up to about hurricane force. So they could really call it at any time.
Pull the trigger at what's the advisory? Did it
70 mile per hour winds in the advisory?
So they're still sitting on it, but I mean, the impact is going to be the same. By the way, not to be this guy, but the Gulf right now If this thing were just sitting, I mean, this is a conducive environment across the Gulf, down to the south of Yucatan. The whole area is pretty prime for these systems.
We're really lucky that it's not farther north because the Gulf is, there's a lot of warmth in the Gulf right now. Now, one change in this latest advisory from the Hurricane Center is that the track has shifted a little farther to the north, and that has to do with where the storm is sort of getting going right now. And so you'll notice that all the way around with more of a northward shift, that changes things a little bit, maybe a little less rain for some of that very high terrain there in Mexico, maybe a little more time out over the open water, so maybe a little stronger for that second landfall in Mexico. And it looks like it really does want to take aim on Belize City. Hurricane warnings also extended a little farther to the north. And so that's the immediate concern is the hurricane force winds, water level rise. The longer term concern is going to be very heavy rain in many parts of Central America as well as into Mexico.
Yeah, on satellite, it looks pretty good.
For a
tropical storm.
Yeah, I mean, it's got real good structure to it right now. You know, we have, again, seen this little intrusion of dry air, which is right in there. You see how there's sort of a cloud-free area in that spot. But again, I think it's going to start to fend that off. And you see the big blow up near the center there. And it's got some time still. You know, it's probably got a good 9 to 10 hours out over the open water, very warm water with that very favorable upper level environment. The Bay Islands are right here, north of Honduras, Roatan. Looks like for the most part, they're not going to get in on the worst of it. I'm sure the winds are going to get a lot stronger as this thing passes by. But this eye wall, that core, is passing them to the north, and it's going to be making a beeline there for Belize City come later tonight.
Yeah, nearly just a breeze right now, but certainly picking up, and I think around midnight tonight is when we could see the biggest impacts there.
Absolutely. You know, it's going to be probably very late tonight, our time, Eastern time, 11, 12 o'clock, when it really starts to ramp up, really cranking them, we think, going into 1 to 2 o'clock in the morning, our time. Got this onshore flow coming into Belize City. And there's a look at the winds. Now, what's interesting is that the coastline is actually more favorable in terms of not producing a really large surge. But when you've got winds that are driving onshore like that, generating very large waves, as you know from going to the beach, a wave comes up, then another one comes in on top of that, and it's starting at a higher place. Right. That's wave run up and wave setup. And so because of that, you can get a water level rise, and it might be 4 to 6 feet in an area that is not higher than 3 feet. Belize City is not higher than 3 feet. So that could be a really big deal as that comes in tonight.
Bad math, unfortunately. Thank you, Carl, for that in-depth analysis. Jen?
All right, up next, we're going to, of course, update you on the tornado watch across parts of the northern plains. Plus, we'll, of course, look at the summer storms that are popping up all across parts of the southeast. That coming up right here on Weather Center Live.
Currently in our area, 89 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 79. Chance of rain, 80%. Thursday, cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 90. Thursday night, considerable cloudiness. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 79. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome back. We have a brand new hurricane, Hurricane Earl. That's the latest from the National Hurricane Center. Winds right now 75 miles per hour, pressure 988, and bracing, and very likely going to be making landfall in Belize in a matter of hours.
Yes, it will be a hurricane. That's the latest advisory. We are getting the graphics package out for that at the moment, but that just came in, and Carl and I were just talking about how it looked like a pretty good-looking system, and unfortunately, good-looking is not good news for Belize.
No, it's not. And of course, a very busy afternoon. In addition to Hurricane Earl, we also have a tornado watch setting up for parts of the northern plains. We'll get to that in just a moment. I'm Jen Delgado.
And I'm Keith Carson. Yeah, Earl is going to be our big story. We will try to get to the severe weather as well. We'll get to storm specialist Carl Parker in just a moment. Some of these thunderstorms, though, trying to stay on top of them because there is a possibility of some rotation in some of these today.
All right, and so we do know that we also have a severe thunderstorm watch setting up for parts of South Dakota, but we're going to continue to see scenes like this. But of course, everybody's talking about Hurricane Earl, this brand new, and from National Hurricane Center. As you said, we're going to get to Carl with the very latest on that, but we'll look at the scene right here with the rain just really coming down.
Yeah, some of these storms again are going to be strong, and Dr. Forbes would have a bigger role. The priority is a triage situation. Yeah. So let's talk about what's going on as far as this storm here with Earl and get to Carl Parker. And Carl, we felt like at any moment they could pull the trigger, and there it is. They've named it a hurricane.
Yeah, and now the question is how much stronger is it going to get, because the environment is generally favorable, and so additional strengthening is possible as the storm gets closer to the coast. It is going to run out of ocean. That's one good thing. We do expect it's got about 9 to 10 hours out over the open water at this point, and will be moving into Belize late tonight and into the early morning hours with a lot of wind, very heavy rain, and a pretty significant water level rise, especially for a nation that has a lot of low-lying terrain. The northern 2/3 of the coast of Belize is less than 1 meter in elevation. That's 3 feet or a little bit more than 3 feet. And so if we get a 4 to 6 foot water level rise in some areas, that is easily going to inundate many sections of the coastline. So that's certainly one of the big worries in the short term. Now, as we look at the satellite picture, you notice how the clouds have really been expanding outward. That's indicating very favorable environment aloft. It's been struggling a little bit, I think, with some dry air, but you see how there's a big burst near the center. So that's the eye wall really starting to crank up there. Yeah, there's been a little bit of a shift also to the north, a slight change in the track, moving it just a little farther north here. There you see it coming in tonight and very early in the morning into Belize City, then continuing across, maybe affecting parts of northern Guatemala as well, and then into Mexico. And it may emerge into the Gulf of Mexico and strengthen somewhat, but we don't think it's going to once again become a hurricane. There's a look at the advisories, hurricane warnings, parts of Mexico as well as Belize, the coast there, and also the Bay Islands. And we haven't seen a whole lot of strong wind on the Bay Islands so far, as the core of the storm has been passing to the north of those islands. And then in the longer term, the larger concern is going to be a terrific amount of rain in very mountainous terrain in Mexico, in Guatemala, and also in Belize. And you're talking about a lot of potential for flash flooding and mudslides and landslides in these areas, with double-digit rain perhaps on the high end. On the satellite picture, you see a little bit of that dry air wrapping into the circulation, but you also notice that there's a big burst of convection or thunderstorms right where the eye wall is. We'll zoom down a little bit, and you can see there was a eye showing up there, developing eye showing up for a couple of frames, now being obscured by the burst of thunderstorms that's developing in that area. Winds are picking up a bit in Rotan. Rotan now about 70 miles to the south of the center of the storm, and the radius of maximum winds is about 25 miles. So it's actually not really getting down into those islands, but there certainly could be some very strong wind, especially as the storm passes and continues to strengthen. And then a quick look at what's going on here with the winds for tonight, and we expect that there are going to be very strong winds coming into Belize City, and again that's going to pile up the water and cause some structural damage as well there in Belize City. Back to you.
All right, and speaking of Belize, this is where we have our storm tracker, Josh Morgan. He joins us live there as expected to make landfall later tonight. It looks quiet now, but we know it's going downhill.
Yeah, totally. The city has a spooky calm to it. The only activity in the city are desperate stranded tourists from around the world who have been trapped here by the airport closing. There's not enough hotel inventory for all the tourists, and it's a desperate situation.
Now, Josh, last time I talked to you, you were in Taiwan for a super typhoon, and obviously there's a big difference between that storm and this storm, but how would you compare the preparedness, the infrastructure of the two areas?
Well, it's very different. Going around this city, the infrastructure is Belize City, the infrastructure is nothing like Taiwan, and it's quite vulnerable, so I'm concerned there. One thing I'm struck by, though, is that people are really preparing for this thing. I'm seeing whole buildings boarded up like a major hurricane is coming, so I guess that's good that people are taking this seriously.
You know, and Josh, too, it's been so long since we've had a hurricane moving through the Gulf of Mexico, too. So, as you say, it's nice to see people taking this warning because, you know, coming out of left wind or, you know, somebody not knowing this ahead of time, it can prove to be deadly.
Yeah, totally. And, you know, Belize City can be quite apathetic because they haven't gotten really nailed badly since 1961. Hope you can hear me. The wind's picking up a little.
You're referring to Hattie.
Yeah, exactly. Hurricane Hattie, which flattened this city. Now, the one thing I'm really struck by, you know, I just got to this city a few hours ago. This city, and I'm sort of positioning myself so you can see behind me. This city, I'm in the downtown area. It has no elevation, like zero. I'm talking like a foot or two, like I think Carl was saying before. And it's kind of like in New Orleans. Parts of the city are actually below sea level. And what that means is that if the center comes ashore south of here and the flow is on shore, a little surge can do a major problem here.
All right, thank you. That's Josh Morgan. We'll be checking in with Josh here throughout the afternoon and the evening. And Josh has seen a lot, so I'm always interested to pick his brain as to how well prepared a city is and what a storm is like when it gets going.
Yeah, he's covered them from the Gulf of Mexico, the Atlantic, and of course the Pacific.
The super typhoons. That's
super typhoons. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty hardcore there. All right, well, coming up, we're going to continue our coverage of Hurricane Earl. Yeah,
Hurricane Earl just newly minted a hurricane as it moves towards Belize City, where Josh Morgan is reporting, and it may continue to gain strength before landfall.
From the moment they wake up, doers don't stop. Every day is a chance to do something great. And for the ones they love, they'd do anything. Sears Optical has glasses made for doing. Right now, buy one pair and get another free. Quality eyewear for doers. Sears Optical.
I wanted to know where my family came from. I did my ancestry DNA. The most shocking result was that I'm 26% Native American. I had no idea. It's opened up a whole new world for me.
Your paycheck. Your family depends on it. But if something happened to you, you need life insurance. And chances are SelectQuote can get it for you for under $1 a day. SelectQuote found Alec, 38, a $500,000 policy for under $23 a month. SelectQuote found Kenesha, 39, a $350,000 policy for under $14 a month. SelectQuote's secret? They impartially shop a select group of highly rated companies like these for your best rates. Give your family the security it needs at a price you can afford.
Since 1985, SelectQuote has saved over 1 million families millions of dollars on life insurance. Call now or go to SelectQuote.com. Discover what over 1 million families know. We shop, you save.
1-800-352-8300. We hired an award-winning actor to show off the award-winning range of Strongbow hard cider. But she canceled, so we got this guy.
This guy? I'll have you know I have won 37 individual awards.
Yeah, but for acting.
Yeah,
Strongbow!
Every day you get to accept things as they are or take responsibility for changing them.
The people of Flint, Michigan, it's like we don't matter.
It's such a real issue that's right in front of us.
Climate, environment, science, technology. Let's have a conversation. And together, we can solve these things.
23.5 degrees, Tuesday nights at 11 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 89 degrees under cloudy skies. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 79. Chance of rain 60%. Thursday, cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 90. Thursday night, mostly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 78. Here's our 7-day outlook.
It wasn't just a little fear.
Don't be scared.
This was a genuine phobia.
We've got an all-new Top 10 Sunday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
She after our liquid gold.
Whoa, she better not be. Our clean runs straight down to the gluten-free stuffing.
It's gluten.
There's gold in them there shells. Liquid gold.
We wrecked the rec room this summer. The Stellar notebooks will last through June.
Get back to great.
This week, these items just 1 cent each. Office Depot office mats. Gear up for school. Gear up for great.
Man, my feet are killing me.
Same time tomorrow, fellas? Dr. Scholl's massaging gel work insoles absorb a hard day on your feet for comfort that keeps you feeling more energized.
It's got skills.
Dr. Scholl's work insoles.
What's it like to be in good hands? Man, it's like pure power at your fingertips. Like the power to earn Allstate reward points every time I drive.
Want my number?
And cash back for driving safe. And the power to automatically find your car. I see you, car, and I got the power to know who's coming and when if I break down. You must be Jerry. Hey, N means getting more from your car insurance with the all-powerful DriveWise app.
It's good to be in good hands.
And welcome back. We have a view out of San Ignacio, Belize, showing you the clouds and the rain, and things are going downhill. We do know Hurricane Earl is approaching. It's going to be making landfall as we go late tonight into the overnight hours, bringing with it, it looks like potentially up to a foot of rain in some spots, and of course, the winds. We do know it's 75 miles per hour. For the very latest, let's turn it over to Keith Carson for his expert analysis.
All right, thank you, Jen. Yeah, let's take a look at this thing because it is now a hurricane. Of course, structurally, we notice this flare up as far as convection, thunderstorms around the center, which is usually a sign that there is intensification ongoing. And the National Hurricane Center has come in and said, yes, it is now a hurricane and it has a chance to strengthen even more, several more hours before it comes on shore. And after that, it's at least going to be slowed in its development as it goes over the Yucatan Peninsula. So we do have hurricane warnings now. We had hurricane watches yesterday, which meant that hurricane conditions were a possibility. Now they mean they're imminent, as this storm certainly in a collision course as it moves off to the west-northwest. Again, Belize City, we have Josh Morganman will be hardest hit with this storm later on this evening as it comes on shore. And during hurricane development, certain characteristics become more prominent as the storm strengthens. Now, in a way only the Weather Channel can pull off, meteorologist Jim Cantore breaks down the anatomy of a hurricane.
One of the most amazing concoctions that Mother Nature can stir up are hurricanes. These are huge heat engines that can expand hundreds of miles wide and unfortunately produce a tremendous amount of destruction. Their purpose is to take the heat from the tropics and distribute it poleward. Unfortunately, sometimes land masses get in the way. Well, with every engine, you need fuel. Water temperatures around 80 degrees. Let's bring this hurricane down and talk a little bit about it. As that warm, moist air rises, cools, condenses, towers develop, they get up there 20, 30, 40,000 feet. Then you have to evacuate that air in a process that we call outflow channels. So if you have low pressure at the surface, you need high pressure aloft to pretty much continue this harmonic process. And it's amazing, as big and as beastly as these things are, there are things that can disrupt the process. Cooler water, dry air in the surrounding atmosphere, and the biggest thing perhaps is wind shear. We know that strong wind shear can allow the system to tilt. Instead of having this nice vertical column that's going up in the middle in developing a hurricane, now you've got, check this out as we go under, a system where that updraft is now tilted off to the right and the storm becomes sometimes decoupled. So you can even see on a satellite picture sometimes a surface circulation, a low cloud swirl, if you will, and all the thunderstorms juxtaposed off in the direction of the shear. So it's kind of an amazing process. In light wind shear, now you've got a system that can grow and intensify and even further expand in time. So let's take the clouds away and give you a nice slice of what this thing actually looks like, because as the storm is maturing, one of the things we look at on satellite and sometimes radar if it's close enough to the coast are features we call rain bands. These help to feed that warm, moist air into the center, creating, especially as the pressure's lower, the most powerful part of the hurricane. We call it the eye wall. It can be anywhere from 6 to even 30 miles wide and is the most destructive part of the hurricane. It has the strongest winds, and in the northern hemisphere on the right side of it, it has the highest storm surge, typically, right near that eye. So with the eye wall comes the eye. As violent as that is, in the middle of all that, There's not even a breeze. Winds are zero, they're calm. And when you see Hurricane Hunter aircraft out there or get a nice satellite picture, sometimes you can see right through that eye. It's clear as a bell all the way down to the ocean surface to a very turbulent ocean surface at that. So you know that the wind field surrounding these big hurricanes can produce a very, very turbulent and even rising ocean in spots. Nature's heat engines, the hurricane.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Jim Cantore taking you inside a hurricane like no one can. Well, interstates are closed and roads are flooded, and this is all across parts of the Southwest where they're dealing with the monsoon. But then you go even farther to the south. That's where we have Hurricane Earl bearing down the coastline of Belize. There's the image right now. Conditions are getting worse.
Are you road ready? Underinflation gives tires better traction in warmer weather. True or false?
Said I'm wild, said I'm wild, said you cannot lose, so go ahead, set them free.
B. False. No matter the season, your tire's worst enemy is underinflation.
What if one day everything just stopped going wrong?
Have a good day, hon.
No more accidents. No more disasters. Where would State Farm be? Here to help with college. Here for that first car. And here for new beginnings. Because in a world where nothing went wrong, your State Farm agent will still be right here, helping make life go completely right.
I don't know where I'm going, but I sure know where I've been. Made up my mind, I ain't wasting no more time.
Today, we're talking about automotive awards. What if I told you there was a car company that received all of these awards?
One company, one award in all these? Chevy.
Chevrolet is the most awarded car company of the last 2 years.
I love it.
I'm just going to stay in here. Is that okay?
Yeah.
This summer, find your tag and get 16% of MSRP cash back on select remaining 2016 vehicles in stock. That's over $3,700 cash back on this all-new 2016 Chevy Cruze. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Every day you get to accept things as they are or take responsibility for changing them.
The people of Flint, Michigan, it's like we don't matter.
It's such a real issue that's right in front of us.
Climate, environment, science, technology. Let's have a conversation. And together, we can solve these things.
23.5 degrees, Tuesday nights at 11 on The Weather.
So Tampa, was I right?
Best letter back.
Yeah.
Florida's most ways to play. Go to visitTampaBay.com.
Some house hunters have specific requirements.
It has to have wood floors.
I absolutely love the purple shutters.
So where's my pantry?
But finding your dream home is as easy as 1, 2, or 3.
Wow.
I love it. This looks great.
Check out House Hunters, weeknights at 10, only on HGTV.
Brought to you by Badcock, where you'll find name brand bedding, appliances, electronics, and more. Visit badcock.com.
7 days a week, AMHQ is right here and weather ready.
Let me get you ready for the day weather-wise.
AMHQ, every morning starting at 5 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 83 degrees with thunderstorms in the area. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 79. Chance of rain 60%. Thursday, cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 90. Thursday night, mostly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 78. Here's our 7-day outlook.
All right, welcome back to Weather Center Live. Breaking news that we now have Hurricane Earl heading towards the Yucatan Peninsula. Winds at 75 miles an hour, pressure at 988, moving west at 14 miles an hour. A marked decrease in its forward speed from what we saw yesterday when it was still in the mid and upper 20s as far as its forward motion. All right, here's the cone, obviously heading right towards Belize City, where we have Josh Morgan, and we'll have him throughout the evening here. Then it will make a move over the land, which should help a little bit, kind of settle it down, but it may reemerge into the Gulf of Mexico and have a brief chance to re-strengthen. But Hurricane Earl, obviously our big story here through the night. Jen?
Okay, of course we'll be following that as you said, but let's look at the southeast. Storms are firing up. We've got a good amount of lightning setting up for parts of the Carolinas down towards Alabama, just to the far north of the Pensacola region. So far, the panhandle's looking pretty quiet. If you go on the eastern side, close to Jacksonville, as well as even into the southern parts of Georgia, that's where we have certainly more lightning and some of the heavier rainfall as we speak. Parts of Florida right now picking up more precip after yesterday. Miami picked up 3+ inches of rainfall. For tomorrow, we'll continue to see scattered storms around. We've got that stationary front that's been hanging out all week long. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. We'll continue to see the fuel for more thunderstorms. We do know for Thursday and Friday, high temperatures near 90 degrees. Saturday's going to be pretty quiet. However, it's going to be hot, but it looks like it's going to be a better day of the weekend for Atlanta. And then for Orlando, I know a lot of people may be planning that last-minute vacation with the kids before they go back to school. We will see, of course, those hit-or-miss storms that you typically see for Florida this time of the year, but overall, look at that 90-degree forecast all the way through Sunday. Keith.
All right, thank you, Jen. Flooding making a mess of things in Phoenix yesterday. It doesn't take much rain in that part of the country to cause some problems. Arizona officials had to close a stretch of Interstate 17 for several hours due to the flooded roads, and the airport only came on with 0.15 inches of rain, but there was more in surrounding areas and some clouds hanging around Phoenix right now. Pretty decent line, actually. Looks like it's going to dive on in from the north, so we'll have to watch Phoenix through the afternoon. In addition to all our other stories, we'll have to keep an eye on whether or not they see any flash flooding there. The monsoon on an uptick right now. It is a seasonal thing, right? It happens July, August, sometimes through parts of September, but it has its phases within that. And after a dry phase last week, it is in an upswing right now. Look at all these showers and storms down across parts of New Mexico and Arizona. And if we zoom in, that's what I'm talking about right here to the north of Phoenix. We'll see if it gets into Phoenix, but some pretty nice looking echoes out of that one as far as heavy rainfall goes down towards Roswell's, Albuquerque. So there's a lot of rain to be had. Vegas is also seeing a flash flood warning, not in the city itself, but just outside of the city. So the amount of moisture in the atmosphere is relatively high for this part of the country. Your dew points in the upper 60s in Phoenix. So, you know, you think about a 68 dew point, and even if you were, you know, say in the Midwest, that's a humid dew point. That's a lot of moisture. And so down here, it's even more so. It gives you an idea of how much moisture is in that column of air, and that goes into the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere during monsoon season. It gives you a better chance of flooding. Hence, while we have these flash flood watches in effect, Flagstaff, Phoenix, and into Albuquerque, Durango, and Vegas. As I mentioned, there is a flash flood warning in Vegas, but it is not in the city itself at the moment. So all that moisture flowing in from the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of California, converging along this area, and an upper level disturbance in it. So as I mentioned before, you've got these kind of up and down swings in all of the activity, and we're seeing an upswing here as this an upper level disturbance that moves in. So showers and storms make their way to the north and east as we head into Friday. You don't think of Denver as a place that gets monsoonal moisture, but in this case, that's what happens. Jen?
All right, let's go to the plains and we look at North Dakota where we have Rugby. The view, look at that hail coming down. We said the threat for 1 inch plus hail is going to be possible, and it's already producing some of the large hailstones right now. This stream coming in from Storm Tracker Corey Hartman will continue to follow the threat for severe weather in the northern plains and, of course, Hurricane Earl.
It's easy to love your laxative when that lax loves your body back. Only Miralax hydrates, eases, and softens to unblock naturally, so you have peace of mind from start to finish. Love your laxative, Miralax.
Guess what I just did?
Built a sandcastle?
Huh. No. I just switched to Geico and got more.
More.
24/7 access online, on the phone, or with the Geico app.
That is more. Go get some mud.
All that more has to be why they're the second largest auto insurer.
Everybody likes more.
I think so.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
What if you had a medical emergency away from home?
My chest hurts. I can't breathe.
What you need is Mobile Help, America's premier mobile medical alert system. Most systems only work at home, but with Mobile Help, you get help outside the home with coverage nationwide on one of the largest cellular networks at the press of a button.
I couldn't dial 911 because I was out of it. I just pushed the button, and when I woke up, I was in the hospital.
I don't have to worry about if I'm near help or if I even know where I am. I have Mobile Help. They know where I am.
I have a number of health issues. If you were to call 911, they would not know what your issues are. Mobile Help has all of that on file, so the emergency responders already know what my needs are.
There are things I wouldn't do if I didn't have Mobile Help.
Mobile Help is a lifesaver, literally and figuratively.
With Mobile Help, I feel safe, I feel secure, and I have my life back.
Call the number on your screen for a free full-color brochure. We'll send you everything you need, including this base station, the patented mobile device, and the waterproof pendant and wrist button. You can also add the fall button that automatically detects falls and signals help even if you are unconscious and unable to press the button. There is no equipment to buy and no long-term contract. For a limited time, you will also receive a free emergency key box with your plan purchase. Don't settle for a medical alert system that only works at home.
Mobile Help has given me my life because I'm not restricted anymore. I have freedom to live now.
Join the thousands of people nationwide already using Mobile Help. And remember, Mobile Help keeps you safe coast to coast.
Call 1-800-916-2258. That's 1-800-916-2258.
Add Topspin to your summer style. Right now, buy one, get one free on most suits, pants, sports coats, sportswear, and accessories. Plus, take an extra 40% off all clearance. Men's Warehouse. Rise to the occasion.
We wrecked the rec room this summer. The Stellar notebooks will last through June.
Get back to great.
This week, these items just 1 cent each. Office Depot office mats. Gear up for school. Gear up for great.
We want to encourage our people to listen to the Weather Channel.
It's a place you can turn to and trust.
There's no other place that has this amount of expertise than we do right here on the Weather Channel.
When it comes to a weather situation that warrants attention, we're the place to go. It's that simple.
Currently in our area, 83 degrees with thunderstorms in the area. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 79. Chance of rain, 60%. Thursday, cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 90. Thursday night, mostly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 78. Here's our 7-day outlook.